A cop has admitted to sending a text that's so offensive we can't even show it on TV.
What's your reaction to that?
I'm disgusted.
We obtained screenshots of the group text in which Officer Matthew Blunt was using his personal phone to brag about winning $32 through the lottery. That's when he sent this message, a cartoon with an expletive and the N-word, to other officers, including his supervisor, Christine Pamation's city phone.
Oh, shit!
Did you see that video? No, it's bananas.
Are you ready, kids? I can't hear you. Oh!
Who lives in an island called Lil St. James? Shout out my side bitch, her name is just Lane. Celebrities come to my island on planes. I bet they'd kill me if I said their name. Ready? Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm not saying, Hitler did nothing wrong. I'm saying he had aura. Can we give the devil his due? He had aura. The uniforms. I mean, hello. We're gonna lie? Like, he had drip. He had drip. He had Riefenstahl. He had, he had a look. Okay, it was compelling. All right, now, we're not doing, I'm not standing as Shia LaBeouf saying Hitler did nothing wrong. I'm just saying he had aura. It's kind of undeniable. Okay, yeah, he was the bad guy. Okay, fine. But you can't deny he had a crazy aesthetic. It went hard. Shit was tough.
Doesn't understand $20.
I'm in a drive through a Burger King. Can I please get a Papa Jr. with onion rings? Make it a meal so I can get a drink. No, I'm not finished, that's not everything. Can I please get a double waffle with no cheese? Can I please get a number 2 with a long drink? I got money so I don't see how much it costs me. So just throw in some extra fat, don't make them salty. All the cheese gonna make my booty drip drip.
Jeff, you gotta help me. I gave Melinda the clap and I got a roofie penicillin into her food.
Bill, stop being a bitch. Just tell her, I'm Bill Gates, bitch. You're welcome.
It is my specialty. A penicillin eclair. One bite and is enough to cure even the clap.
Golly, you think it'll work?
I promise, my friend, your wife will have this horrible clap no more.
Hey, isn't that Melinda?
Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about
Jeff,
afterwards.
you gotta help me. Melinda found out about the eclair and I kind of blame the whole thing on you.
Hey, Bill. Now that you guys are single, would it be cool if I asked Melinda to do my sponge bath?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. I hope that you all had a wonderful Easter weekend. However, that being said, I know that the Ortho Bros are now entering their Holy Week, right? So it's the West and then the East, and there's a little bit of a different calendar there. But either way, gentlemen, I am very glad to be here with you tonight to discuss the happenings, which, of course, we got updates on Iran. We did probably one of the coolest combat operations of all time over the weekend, a bit of an Easter miracle, you could say, in one way, shape, or form. And, of course, updates with, supposedly tomorrow is going to be the day to end all days, the day where we completely obliterate our enemies if they don't do exactly what we tell them to do or what we want them to do, even though we've said that for quite some time now. So most likely another bit of a nothing burger. We have Japanese exports. Some of you guys are going to be a little too excited about certain Japanese exports, I'm sure, but that's a cool possibility that could be happening, and a selected bit of rage bait and whatnot. But I suppose before we get to the stream, I do have to wish all of the Jews out there better luck next time, bro. BTFO'd for the last 2,000 years. Sorry, dogs. You lost. Never get over it. It's all right, though. But Richard, Jake, how's everybody's night going, and how was your Easter weekend?
I had a great Easter weekend. Wonderful dinner on Saturday night, and visited with family. Good time. It's a good time. I hope everybody had a good weekend as well. Jake, how was your weekend?
Easter was fantastic. Lots of good things. Christ is risen. Very based. He is king. Jews stay losing. You know. It's
No hard feelings.
It's a good
though.
feeling. No hard feelings. Better luck next time. Wink. Not really.
Titus Vespasian would like a word with you, okay? After he's done, we're next. All right. Well. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good week. I know I see Logan out in the chat. Oh, I should also mention, okay, Logan did make it to Grandmaster, Grand Wizard in USPSA. Okay, fine. He did good or whatever. He's a really good shooter. It's fine. Logan does, in fact, not suck at shooting, but he does like Uma a little too much. So, you get the good with the bad. It's a little bit of yin, a little bit of yang. Logan is true. He did get GM in the female division, though, which is different.
So
different.
Logan hitting GM, does that mean that this is the last we will ever see of you, John?
I hope so. Jeez. Ending it tomorrow.
You're doing the deed on stream like you promised?
Yes. I would never joke about that on stream. But yes, last stream, one for the ages. Not really. It's a pretty normal stream tonight.
Did the GM?
But yeah, congratulations to Logan for actually going out there and getting it done. And listen, Logan can't rotate an apple in his mind or conceive of an apple in his mind, but he's very good at shooting. So, to take what you can get from that, okay? But that should be a lesson for everybody out in the chat, okay? If you can project an apple into your mind, like, you should be able to make GM too, okay? No excuses. No excuses at all. All right. Let's see. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and start with the perhaps one of the coolest combat operations of all time. We're definitely going to be getting books and movies and stuff about it because over the weekend, last week, Thursday, we had one of our F-15s get shot down over Iran, and we extracted one of the pilots within the first few hours. However, the WISO, the weapons officer, was missing. And there was some drama that came out later, the fact that the admin did not want it leaked that we had not recovered the second officer. And somebody in the admin leaked it to the press that we still had somebody missing inside of Iran. And that's what caused the whole kerfuffle where now it was everybody in the region was hunting down the missing pilot, or the missing WISO, I should say. And then that caused us to have to send even more people in there to get it. It's a kind of a cool story overall, right? You can see the pieces here of how it would make a really good book or movie. And because we did in fact have SEALs on the ground in there, you're going to be getting a bunch of different books. You're going to get the new Tim Kennedy off of this operation. Okay, 5-10 years down the road, it's going to be like, I was the guy that was there that pulled the colonel out. Okay, that's what's going to happen. But we'll listen to Trump explain it here for a second.
Then it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
We'll talk about that too.
Both members of the crew
New
ejected
deadline
from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision. because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain...
Now, it is true. Big Bean says that Garantham taught the Wizzo, so that's the only reason he survived. It is, he was a TAC-P and then a SEER, search, evasion, reconnaissance, whatever, specialist. So he actually taught that. So there is a non-0% chance that Garantham himself taught search and evasion tactics to the Wizzo. There is a non-0% chance that is the timeline that we're living on.
Certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Those our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even.
Now, he is correct there. Now, I did see there was some discussion online from non-Westerners about why would you even like risk it for one guy? Like, imagine China. Would China risk hundreds of soldiers, millions of dollars worth of equipment to extract a single soldier? No, they would not. Would Russia do that? No, absolutely not. It is a uniquely Western value to put the lives of your soldiers at that level. And now there's also a bit of a special case here, right? Because we don't technically have boots on the ground in theory. This is a very special circumstance where if the Iranians manage to capture a American pilot, American Wizzo, a colonel, that gives them a huge morale boost, right? Whereas if we can get in there and steal him, get him back, pull them out safely without losing anything, then that is a huge morale boost for us. So it's not necessarily just about the life of the colonel, although that is, of course, very important, but it's also about the optics of the whole situation. Like, imagine the devastation. Like, honestly, losing soldiers would probably be less of a optics loss than having like one of our people captured and paraded around on Iranian TV, right? That would be a much more devastating blow to us optically than, say, even the 13 soldiers that we've already lost.
So it looks like Polymarkets is disputing whether or not we have boots on the ground. Upwards of $200 million worth of disputes.
Yeah, and again, I don't really want to get into the technicality of whether that's an invasion, boots on the ground, yada, yada, yada. I mean, we did. We landed hundreds of personnel in, as we'll get into, a abandoned airstrip that we decided that we could use for our own purposes, which essentially was just like a field. It was like a flat desert field where we could land planes and build helicopters in country to then use those helicopters to go pull the guy out. And then we had to send in additional C-130s to blow up the C-130s that got stuck in the mud. It's a crazy story. Absolutely crazy. Now, of course, if you look at Polymarket, yeah, they say we're going to enter Iran by April 30th, 100%. Well, kind of because we, already did, of course. So I'm not sure how they're going to dispute that. That's for the bettors and the gamblers to figure out. I personally don't care much about it.
They show
Polymarket's doing what Polymarket does.
Already.
Say again?
If you scroll down a little while, it shows the disputes, and they have apparently 22 hours to resolve.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of money riding on this. Okay.
A lot.
You should buy the no. Okay. Buy $100 worth of no. The payout is going to be like $40,000 or something. That's just in case, just in case somebody inside is working the short. Okay. But moving forward with the operation. So according to Axios, citing officials familiar with ongoing matters, the weapons systems officer, Wizzo, of the U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle that was down earlier this week in southern Iran suffered injuries after ejecting from the aircraft on Friday, but could still walk and evaded capture in the mountains for more than a day prior to being found and extracted by combat search and rescue early Sunday. Now, if you listen to Trump's full address earlier today, which I did, the Wizzo had to apply medical to himself while scaling a mountain, his entire plan. Now, they actually, in my opinion, almost gave away too much information because Trump was going into like exactly what you're supposed to do. He's like, oh yeah, when you get down to the ground, you're supposed to get as far away from the crash site and get up as high as possible. And it's like, well, that seems like intuitive, of course, but you're also telling your enemies, hey, if we ever lose a pilot, by the way, he's going to head for the nearest mountain range, and he's going to try and get to the top of it, which is going to be the easiest for us to find him, right? So he kind of did give away a little more than some people would probably like, but he did treat his own medical and get himself out of here. Richard, did you just touch something? Was that me?
I didn't touch anything.
Why did it just suddenly change aspect ratios? Oh wait, I see.
I didn't touch anything.
Jake, you're really blowing it here, man. You're ruining my cool.
I don't even have anything to touch, John. Fun little light note, a little bit of comedy. I am like 100% certain Grantham is going to make an entire series of videos talking about this incident and somehow self-inserting.
He might. I saw him responding to somebody saying that, hey, you need to make a video going over SEER tactics for evasion. And he actually said no on Twitter. He said, no, I can't do that because this would be information used against us, like our guys, like the guys that I trained in the future. So Grantham has actually come out and said that he won't do a video going into specifics of the actual SEER tactics used to get away from a downed plane. So, I mean, while I have personal disagreements with Grantham, okay, I would hope that he would not endanger American service members' lives, and so I do take him at his word.
I think it all comes down to how well those trench grenade collab videos go. If they don't go too well, the bank account's looking a little light. You might have to dip into the
pull out that
leaking classified information.
That alimony claim is stacking up. Yeah, I applaud him for not doing the videos and coming out and saying no. That's a bad idea. I just think that it's not going to make much of a difference. They've just got to wait 6 or 7 years for the next Mark Wahlberg movie to come out.
Oh, it's coming. It's going to happen. 100%. 100%. So tonight's operation in southern Iran, which resulted in the successful rescue of weapons systems officer Wizzo aboard the American F-15E Strike Eagle down Friday over Iran, involved hundreds of special forces troops and other military personnel, including a member of U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6. Now, that's quite funny. SEAL Team 6, obviously one of the premier DevGru groups, and they like to write books and do interviews and such like that. Dozens of fighter and strike aircraft, helicopters, and cyberspace and other intelligence capabilities officials tell the New York Times. Senior military officials described the mission to rescue the airmen as one of the most challenging and complex in the history of U.S. special operations, given the mountainous terrains, the airmen's injuries, and the Iranian forces rushing to the location in the mountains of southern Iran. So, inside of Iran, they had a bulletin as soon as they figured out that the U.S. did not rescue both of the airmen. They only pulled out one. They immediately set up, I think it was a $60,000 bounty on the head. They wanted him alive, the capture of the downed Wizzo. So there you'll see videos floating around of Iranians just like hiking through their backwoods, carrying their AKs or whatnot, and like very generic T-shirts and shorts and whatnot. And they're just out there walking about looking for the Wizzo. Now, Trump also said that during a speech today that they had, I think, 7 different distraction points where they would be flying helicopters and downed Wizzo, where they would have 7 different like distraction points where they'd be flying like helicopters or planes circling like different areas to kind of draw away attention from the area that they were working on the most. However, once they found the guy, once they figured out that, okay, nope, there's the Wizzo, there he is. He's sitting on top of this mountain, like basically hidden. And then once he started to move, they figured out that, okay, that's him. That's where we're going in. They set up a 3-kilometer kill box around him with up to 150 different planes that were, in different, refueling tankers, helicopters, A-10s, F-35s, whatever that they had in the area, C-130s, of course. a 3-kilometer basically kill box. Anything that comes within 3 kilometers of the Wizzo, that gets smacked down on top of all their distraction efforts and trying to draw away forces and, counterintelligence that CIA was actually doing inside the region to disseminate incorrect information about where the Wizzo was. So it was a total spectrum warfare here to get this one guy out. And again, just like with the Maduro raid, they received a lot of fire. A lot of people got wounded. No casualties, which is absolutely insane. But so, I mean, it's got to be a weird feeling as a Wizzo on the ground, and you're injured. You've self-medicated to the best of your abilities. I think you have a takedown AR, if I remember correctly, or perhaps just an M17. I saw 2 conflicting reports about whether he had his AR, because I think they come with their kit underneath their ejection seat is it's either a takedown AR-15 or it's an M18 of some sort. So like that's all you have, and just you're here for like 24 hours. You're scaling cliff sides. You're making it as high as you can to get away from the Iranians, and the entire time, like you're under surveillance. You don't necessarily know that you're under surveillance. You can assume so because you can see all the planes and stuff flying around. But they're just hammering anything that comes anywhere near you. So the Wizzo evaded Iranian forces for more than 24 hours, and at one point hiking up a 7,000-foot ridgeline. A senior U.S. military official said U.S. attack aircraft dropped bombs and opened fire on Iranian convoys to keep them away from the area where the airman was hiding. A U.S. Special Forces converged on the downed airman. They fired their weapons to keep Iranian forces away from the rescue site, but did not engage in a firefight with the Iranians. So they're claiming that the ground forces, the people that actually got deployed, while they did shoot at people, there was no like direct firefight. In a final twist, after the officer was rescued, 2 transport planes that would carry the commandos and the airmen to safety got stuck at a remote base in Iran. Commanders decided to fly in 3 new planes to extract all the U.S. military personnel and the airmen, and they blew up the 2 disabled planes rather than have them fall into the hands of the IRGC. Now, what's interesting about that, we have the pictures of the 2 C-130s that got stuck. So they flew in 2 C-130s originally that were packed with personnel and with the helicopters. So they actually had the helicopters used to extract the airmen inside of the C-130s. They land them there, drag the helicopters out, assemble the rotors, while at this abandoned airfield that is basically just a strip of flat desert. That's what it is. So the entire time they're here, they have all the commandos, the helicopters on board, disassemble or reassemble the rotors, take the helicopters, go get the guy, bring him back to the airfield. It turns out the 2 C-130s that they brought everything in are now stuck. So they call in 3 additional planes that they had on standby to go pick up everybody. And then I think somebody said it was Delta. I'm not entirely sure, but then they destroy everything that they had to leave behind. Because, again, the airfield is like an airfield in quotations. It's an abandoned airfield. It used to be an airfield. So whoever was making the call was like, there's nothing in the region to get helicopters close enough to the guy, but if we land them at this abandoned airstrip, like maybe we can get there. And it kind of did work. And fortunately, the 3 C-130s that they called in after the fact also didn't get stuck, right? Because it's just like you have like a mini, forward operating base controlled by the U.S. military. You have 5 C-130s stuck on the ground and like however many commandos and whatnot that are there. That could have turned in, again, to an even worse situation. But fortunately, everybody was able to extract. Yeah, we lost, I think, whatever helos that they brought in and the 2 C-130s. So we lost some, airframes. But other than that, some people got injured, but no additional loss of life. And the Wizzo is maybe not back home yet, but certainly recovering somewhere in the area. So how does a C-130 even get stuck? Well, I think the weather might have been a little rainy because there were some reports that it was sandy or muddy. So it's also, again, it's a strip of dirt. So if it managed to land and get everything off, but after sitting there for 10, 12 hours, however long they were waiting for the helo crews to come back with the Wizzo, could have, at some point in time got stuck. So yeah. And then they flew in 3 more to pick up everybody and to, scuttle the ships that were there and then come out. So again, incredibly successful. Go ahead.
I have a question. As far as I know, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously chat knows more than me. I don't believe the SEALs use little birds at all.
Whatever helos that they brought on the C-130s.
Okay.
So I believe they brought it because the helos themselves don't have enough range to get in there without refueling tankers, and they didn't want to refuel them the entire way. So they literally airdropped helos on the ground, reassembled them because they obviously can't fit rotors inside, and then took over. So it was either, if it wasn't little birds, it's the next size up.
Okay. Well, those were little birds, the ones that got scuttled along with the other aircraft. But I guess, as far as I knew, only Delta used the little birds. I guess 160th will fly anybody, but
Yeah, I think they're going to use whatever they've got.
Well, so I don't know if it was Delta though, because I saw one report that said Delta scuttled the planes that were left behind, and then the one report from OSINT was like, well, there was one member of SEAL Team 6 involved in the actual on the ground forces, so it could have been a combination of the two.
Awesome.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. And I guess the reason, from what I understand, and this makes sense to me, the reason why they destroyed the 4 little birds is because they wouldn't have had enough fuel to be able to actually take them out of country, like fly them out of country.
Well, they're really heavy, and they would have to disassemble them too.
Well, yeah, and even if they can't just fly the helicopters out because they do not have the range. They can't, as far as I know, little birds don't have a capability to aerial refuel. So I think that's why they destroyed them, because the transport planes were gone, so there was no way to get them out, really.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a cool, I mean, it is objectively cool. I think it's like something like $300 million worth of equipment lost to save a pilot, which you're right, no other country is going to do that.
It was worth it for the morale win, 100%.
Yeah.
Outside of the cosmic calculus, it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I don't want to be cynical, but I wonder what their plan of action was if it hadn't leaked to the press that the pilot was downed. Like
the same thing, but with way less planes. So, for instance,
I would like to think so, but
the operation to get the first pilot out only involved 21 planes, 21 total airframes. The operation to get the second guy out was 150. And this incredibly daring rescue with, bringing little birds in country disassembled, reassembling them in country, in a foreign country that you're at war with, to then get Delta on top of a mountain to pull out a Wizzo. A much different type of operation.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll charge the leak?
When they find him, I do not want to be that guy. Right. So, and this is Trump talking about it today. So again, originally it was reported that it was an F-15 or an F-35, which it might have been, because an F-35 is only a one-seater. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, because I saw original reports that it was an F-35, and then we got the guy out, but then no, it was an F-15, which is a two-seater, the F-15E. So the pilot's out, but where's the Wizzo? Why aren't they reporting on the Wizzo? And then it's because, well, they didn't want to report on the fact that they only got one guy out because they didn't want Iran to know that he's still running around in country.
And earlier on, I think when they did report that both pilots were rescued, is I think what the earlier reporting was. But after that, I don't even think this was out there until after they said they were both rescued, that they reported that a A-10 was shot down and that pilot had been rescued.
Well, so the A-10 was an interesting case because it got hit in Iran, but then managed to get over Kuwait when the guy actually ejected.
Okay.
So he was totally out of harm's way by the time he ejected, but it did.
I think that's why, some of the early articles that came out said both pilots rescued, even though the Wizzo was still on the ground. And I think you're right; they were probably trying to keep that under wraps because they wanted them to think that everyone was out.
I did.
Well, yeah, and it just makes the operation way simpler when you don't have not only the entire IRGC converging on the area, but also just like random Iranian citizens hiking around the mountains. It just makes everything more complicated. And again, while much like the Maduro raid, flawless execution, everybody came out, great win, looks fantastic, right? It's like 1 millisecond away from being a Red Wings, where everything goes south and we do the worst case scenario and we lose 100 troops. We lose, the deltas that we send in there, whatever else that we send in there.
Yeah.
And it turns into a complete travesty and a morale win for the other side, right?
It was like one lucky rifle round, one lucky RPG or man pad that could have turned that into a massive death toll. which I don't think
100%.
some people realize that how high the stakes are, especially with low flying aircraft like that. And they were out during the daytime. It's
Yeah, well, they
pretty
had
crazy.
to. They were operating around the guy, and again, they had all these different distraction forces in different areas to try and confuse the IRGC and the Iranians about where actually the pilot was, and so they were engaging like 24/7 to keep people off of the pilot. From what I understand, they had a 3-kilometer kill zone. Anybody who gets within 3 kilometers of the pilot gets taken down.
Back and not even much of a problem. But these two extraordinary rescues, because it was two, and as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. And then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one in this.
Yeah, and this Armorer's Wrench brings up a really good point here that I 100% agree with, that Trump, the day of, I think it was the morning of, the morning before, something like that, it was very, very close between him saying that we can do whatever we want above Iran, we've completely taken out their air defenses, is when our F-15 got hit. So it was very unfortunate timing for Trump in that aspect. And we'll get to some more additional reporting that says, well, Iran's capabilities are mostly undeterred at the moment.
Somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do, because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire...
Is that real? Is it really an Israeli journalist, Amit Siegel, or is that are you trolling me? Are you trolling me, Paulie? That would be awkward, because especially since Israel also said that they were not going to deploy forces to help us rescue the guy. That'd be awkward if it was also them that leaked the information.
I mean, it would kind of make sense on their part to leak something like that to get us
actually, let's take the worst interpretation of that. They leak the information to either allow the guy to be captured or to dissuade the rescue. Like, imagine in Israel's case, okay, if they want us to annihilate Iran, if we lose 100 troops trying to rescue a Wizzo and the whole mission goes bad, like, that is going to galvanize people to some sort of, retribution, some sort of like major step up in terms of our strikes in Iran, which is probably happening tomorrow anyways, regardless, right?
Yeah, imagine if they not only leaked that, but they also shot down the plane. That'd be crazy. But they wouldn't do something like that. They have not been known historically to do things like that.
Yeah, it's true. Come on, do a war.
Country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award. So when you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that the person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last.
Arrow, are you talking about 200 injured in total or 200 injured in the raid or the rescue operation? I don't think it was 200 injured in the rescue operation, but I think total injured so far in the war on the American side is roughly like last week I saw a number of like 130, so it wouldn't surprise me if at this point it was about 200 or something.
Yeah, so I saw something come out, and this is supposedly the Pentagon added Operation Epic Fury to its official casualty database. As of April 3rd, it was 365 wounded in action.
Okay.
Across all the branches, including, and then 13 dead.
13 dead, 365 wounded. So, and that is going to continue to rise. And again, that death toll, while it is low, tragic loss of American lives. And keep in mind, we are one drone strike, one man pad, one, ship strike away. And even Trump today in his interview said that they launched 110 missiles at one of our aircraft carriers, which I didn't know that. I don't know if many people knew that. And again, it only takes one of those getting through, two of those getting through to take that death toll from, tens to hundreds, if not more. Now, talking about Iran's current capabilities, and again, we're trying to hit their underground storage facilities, their underground manufacturing for their drones and their ballistic missile programs. And we're doing that with very expensive, very rare bombs that we only have, somewhere between 12 and 30 in stock at any point in time. Iranian operatives have been digging out underground missile bunkers and silos struck by American and Israeli bombs, returning them to operation hours after an attack, with Iran's Islamic RGC still retaining a significant amount of its cruise and ballistic missiles, as well as mobile launchers, according to recent U.S. intelligence reports shared with the New York Times. So we're striking them as hard as we can. We're trying to take down their capability, and within hours, they are clearing the damage and just going right back to work. So our strikes at actually doing what our intended goals, which as stated by the Trump admin, are to remove their ballistic missile capability, which I simply don't think that we can actually accomplish from the air. And we can't get rid of their mobile launcher platforms from the air because, again, they can just stick everything underground because they've been doing this for the last 30 years. Now, while all of this is going on, while we're mucking about in Iran, getting our Wizzo out, which, again, probably one of the best military operations in the last 20 years in terms of success rate, nobody getting killed, getting our guy out, total obliteration of the enemy. Again, as far as our actual war fighters go, the best in the business, okay? The best on the planet. Our SEALs, our Deltas, our actual Space Marines, okay? We are actually God among men when it comes to war fighters. Like, our guys are actually the best in the business. We just want them to be used in a way that benefits the average American citizen a little bit more. But while we're distracted over there doing such things, Israel is leveling southern Lebanon, which is super not cool. So this is strikes on Lebanese homes and infrastructure today, just wiping it off the face of the map, which is not great. And keep in mind that Lebanon is a Christian country with the largest Christian population in the Middle East. I think there's over 1 million Christians out of only like 3 or 4 million people in the total country of Lebanon. And Israel has taken the southern part of it and is planning to hold it, according to their own defense ministry, holding it after the fighting stops, which means that it's now theirs. It's going to be theirs. It's going to be their new expansion into southern Lebanon beneath the river.
It's greater Israel, man. This is what they're doing while we're busy in Iran. Also, I don't know what the claim is on these videos, but it's very clear these are like, they're just like blowing up. They're rigging buildings with explosives and blowing them up.
No, yeah, they're removing buildings from the face of the map and destroying infrastructure for southern Lebanon.
Yeah,
they've already pushed most of the people out. They've already pushed most of the people out of the bottom quarter, and it's just I don't know. They are removing it. They are leveling it, and again, this will be a new housing development. Give it 5 to 10 years. Okay, this will be a new Israel settler project.
Can they even, like, are they trying to claim that this is somehow a military operation though?
I mean, it might as well be a construction operation for these guys.
I mean, in my mind, during a time of war, you don't like go into a whole city block, rig every building with explosives, and then blow it up.
Well, that's the thing though. They are. It's twofold, right? So it's demoralization. There's no home for you to return to, right? You've already been kicked out because we're quote unquote fighting the terrorists here, right? We're fighting the terrorists that are here. So we're kicking them out. And then on top of that, we're destroying the home so that the people who are fleeing the combat, fleeing the fighting, they can't come back. There's nothing to come back to. And they're like, well, listen, we can't give it back to the Lebanese. There's no home to give back to them. So we might as well hold on to it. And again, they've already said that they're going to hold on to it even after the fighting stops. So they're not just, it's theirs now, essentially, right? And there's no one in the region that's going to say no, right? And they're going to, the whole defense is going to be, well, we're clearing out terrorists, even though these are abandoned cities that they're just completely leveling for their own purposes, right? Yeah. So sucks to be them. Sucks to be them. Pray for the Christians in the area. And this comes after that they killed the priest in Lebanon, the Catholic priest in Lebanon last week. Now, in terms of other players getting involved, keep in mind that while we kind of have the strait shut down, we also at the same time lifted sanctions on other countries buying Iranian oil. And so India, our actual greatest ally, just ask Greg Abbott of Texas, loves Indians, by the way. They are now buying oil directly from Iran. So this is always what confuses me about the economic strategy in Iran, right? Because to me, the economic strategy seems to have only ever hurt us, right? It made our oil more expensive for us and our allies, especially, again, South Korea, Japan, UK, Europe. It really affects them, which are, again, ostensibly our allies. And it in turn also made our oil more expensive. But then it also gives them a mechanism to increase their revenue by now they can sell directly to India, which is a nuclear powered ally in the region. And also to charge $2 million per vessel coming through if they want to pay the toll. Now, Trump today in his address said, well, hey, if we get control of the strait, we should charge a toll to come through. You know, America should hold the strait. And that's what's going to pay for the whole operation is if we have to put our ships in there to actually hold the strait, we'll charge everybody coming through $2 million a tanker, which is like, I could see logically how that would make sense, you know, if other militaries aren't willing to defend the strait from, again, you know, the Iranian terrorists, then I could see how that could make sense from like an economic standpoint. But I don't think that we're going to be doing that. And I don't think that we really want to be doing that. But again, India's oil and natural gas ministry has announced the purchase of both crude oil and a liquefied petroleum gas from Iran amid the ongoing war in the Middle East and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Constituting the first purchase of energy products from Iran in several years by India. This announcement follows last month's lifting of sanctions levied against Iranian tankers by the U.S. Treasury Department. I don't even know the impotence for that. Why did we do that? Why did we remove sanction on Iranian tankers? Why was that a part of our goals?
Who knows? Also, I think, I'm not trying to, you know, correct you here, John, but I think the word is impetus, not impotence.
Impetus? Yeah, you know, it's way too similar. It's way too similar for my Greg brain to get the difference. It's fine.
Impotence is a different thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, it checks out, though. It checked out, though.
I guess.
All right. Well, now here's the timeline that we live on. Okay, so Donald Trump had a very interesting Easter post. Now I know that he had an actual like Easter post talking about it, but this was also said on Easter. Okay, so Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump.
One hell of an Easter post.
It is, yeah, perhaps the craziest Easter post from a president of all time. Now, I saw a lot of people like virtue signaling about this, but like it's obvious that he's trolling and trying to be funny in some way, while again also threatening annihilation among the people of Iran, like the citizens of Iran, right? Which is, it's really weird though. Even if you try and defend it purely as just trolling or being Trump, I'm also like, but do you want your president to be talking about things this way on Easter about your enemies and the use of your military? Like, yeah, schizo posting on Maine, Easter egg. Yeah,
no, this reminds me, like, what do you think is worse, Sean? Considering who Trump is, right? What he supposedly represents. Do you think this is worse of an Easter post, or do you think Joe Biden doing his Trans Day of Visibility post on Easter? Which one do you think is worse?
Well, my question with always is, which one kills fewer children? or more children, I guess. It's got to be. It's really close actually when it talks about actual effects, because of course, one of them is Iranian children, so maybe you view them, you weigh their lives as lesser. The other one is American children, which you may view as, of course, more valuable because they're your own people. So I gotta say, I think Biden's is worse, because I think it's not only is it more offensive specifically to the Easter season, but it also affects our children and is more, I think, transing children or sexualizing children, grooming children is more evil than just killing them. So I think that Biden's does get the worst Easter tweet of all time.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. However, just to be a contrarian here, I would argue that coming from Biden is like to be expected. Trump allegedly, he's allegedly our guy, right? He is the conservative, the pro-Christian person. So coming from someone like that, I don't know. I get what you're saying though, as far as like just
it's still,
objectively
it's like
weighing them.
if it's an awful message coming from the office of the presidency on Easter Sunday, right? On the most important day in the year for Christians. Yeah. But again, I think Biden's maybe is more evil because he's probably doing it specifically for Easter, whereas Trump could have put this out on any day and I'd be like, oh, he's just schizo posting, you know. This doesn't have any like anti other than the fact that he says praise be to Allah, but that's of course because he's talking to the Iranians here, right? So he's trying to be funny, I guess. Not sure. But anyways, here's Muslim Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and he says, Happy Easter, New York. Today, millions of New Yorkers celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the victory of hope over despair and faith over fear. It's so weird that our Muslim mayor of New York, who's like the most deranged socialist, lefty, progressive of all time, is infinitely more wholesome than Trump on Easter. It's a weird timeline, okay? It's a weird timeline that I happen to be on right now, where my based Christian, leader is like, you know what? I'm killing people tomorrow, all right? Civilians getting hit tomorrow, baby. Praise be to Allah, bastards.
Ironically, neither of them are Christians, right?
No, I know. That's the thing.
But somehow the Muslim non-Christian came out with a better Easter post. That's actually crazy. I've not seen this. That's actually crazy. Even just like going into detail and saying the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which
that's pretty wholesome.
Muslims,
you know, if this came from my pastor, I'd be like, what a nice little tweet. Okay, I'd be like, perfect. You know,
I wouldn't expect.
You know, the Pope might have tweeted this.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect many politicians to even bring up the resurrection of Jesus Christ on Easter. They'll just say Happy Easter.
Oh yeah, most people that like post a cross just say like, "Oh, Happy Easter" or something, you know, and they'll do like a little cross emoji. But this specifically calls out the resurrection of Jesus Christ,
which is ironic because Muslims don't believe Jesus died on the cross.
No, Muslims are weird. So you guys use the obvious forgery, I believe, the Epistle of Barnabas, to say that, oh well, he actually didn't die on the cross and he was taken before then. But or you know, angels came down to save him or whatever. But it's a noted like well-known historical forgery that you're basing your doctrine off of, which is like really that's all of Islam though, is it's all based off of, you know, nonsense and, you know, visions of demons and whatnot.
It's Middle East Mormonism is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like it's very Semitic inspired, let's say. All right. Very, very Semitic inspired. Okay, so actually just posted on the Discord actually. So this is who they are alleging is the leaker, and it is saying that it is in fact Israeli journalist Amit Siegel is the source. Now this is just, you know, alleged as of right now, just a little while ago. Trump says his team will hunt down the leaker, whoever claimed the second missing U.S. Pilot on Friday. He warned that the journalists behind the report could face jail if they refuse to name the source. Plot twist, ... It was the Israelis. Who's going to arrest them? And this is the guy. One of the American pilots was apparently rescued, reported by a knowledgeable source in Israel. Mitt Siegel, Trump, we didn't talk about the first one rescued, and then someone leaked something about the navigator. We're going to find whoever leaked it. Whoever this is, we'll manage to track them down. As you may recall, this was first published here. Oh, that's a little awkward, Mr. Siegel. That's a little oopsie whoopsie. Are you fighting theologically in the chat with Muslims right now, Jake?
I don't know who I'm fighting with. I don't know if they are Muslims. Someone just said that. What did they say? It was a bad take, in my opinion. Basically, Muslims recognizing Jesus as a prophet means that they think he's divine.
No, but they deny the divinity of Christ because they say that Allah has no equal. But if you look up their descriptions of Allah, like, it's very, very nonsensical, you know. So we're not Catholics here, so we don't believe that they worship the same God as us. That's not our theology.
My take is bad. I quit debating people in comments. You're right, Asian Mashab reviews.
Dude, don't take bad take advice from AMR, dude. If AMR says you're having a bad take, you're on a roll right now. Keep it going, bro. Keep it going, dude.
I'll fight anybody in the comments right now, all right?
Dude, go for it. All right. Anyways, so now this is why the title of the stream is On the Brink, or Modern Problems Require Ancient Solutions. U.S. President Donald J. Trump speaking about Tuesday's ultimatum, which is in about 12 hours from now, with Iran during this morning's event celebrating Easter at the White House. We are obliterating their country, and I hate to do it. And again, this is also on Easter, which I do find quite funny sometimes, that this is our wholesome-based president in charge.
Obliterating that country. And I hate to do it, but we're obliterating, and they just don't want to say uncle. They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will. And if they don't, they'll have no bridges, they'll have no power plants, they'll have no anything. I won't go further because there are other things that are worse than those two. And we might have, well, the thing, if I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American...
Now, that sounds to me like Karg Island. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds to me like Karg Island when he says, take the oil. Because, again, 90% of all oil exports of Iran come out of Karg Island. That's what that sounds like to me when he's dropping hints like that. Now, again, this is for the ultimatum that ends tomorrow. He said that if they do not come to the table by tomorrow, which, again, not very long from now, he is going to take out all of the civilian infrastructure. So that is all of their bridges, and that is all of their power plants. So that is something that is usually, again, just another escalation, which I don't really think that that's a sign that things are going well when you continue to escalate and escalate and escalate. Because, of course, the strait is still closed as long as the Iranians say that it's closed.
Yeah, to me, the continued escalation and this, like, it reminds me of a parent who, like, doesn't actually want to discipline their children. They say, I'm going to count to 3, and then they take like 20 minutes counting to 3, and they do it over again a bunch. That's what it feels like. But the fact that you keep escalating and you're now going to the point where you are going to take out power infrastructure and water and bridges and all this stuff, to me, that doesn't mean you're doing well and achieving your goals. It means you are running out of options to achieve your goal. What if they take out all the bridges and the power plants and they still don't open the strait? Then what? Are we going to start bombing? Are we going to bomb the box? Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to drop a bomb on the box? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that is the final escalation, right? So targeting civilian infrastructure will undoubtedly result in the deaths of a lot of people, just not only just in the strikes themselves, but cutting off, power to a country of 90 million people, going to cause some problems with people who rely on that power to survive, right? So, I mean, this is targeting civilian infrastructure. This is, in some people might consider it a war crime. I know some people are saying, oh, Russia's targeting civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. That's a war crime. We gotta stop evil Putin from doing this.
But John,
and it's like, well, funny you mentioned that.
It's based when Ukraine does it to Russia, but when Russia does it to Ukraine, it's evil. It's the Holocaust.
It's another Holocaust of
It's
the
another
Ukrainians.
Holocaust. And people will make the argument, oh, they use this infrastructure for military purposes too. So it's a military target, which is literally an Israeli argument. That's literally their whole. That's how they operate in warfare. So
you
I don't
have
know,
to
man.
remember when they say that the IDF is the most moral army in the world, they are correct by their own definition of morality, right? So according to Israeli Eastern morality, I shouldn't really call it Eastern, okay? Because that's denigrating Eastern morality, okay? But Israeli morality, Israeli military doctrine, like raping your captured, your captured enemies is totally cool, totally kosher. All right. So according to them, they are the most moral army in the world. Just don't, you just can't operate on your own moral system.
Yeah, we need to not forget that they did in fact rule in court that it was okay for them to rape prisoners of war. Nobody forget this. Just lock it in your head. That is something.
There's always a possibility, but hey, that wraps up our Iran section of the day. Again, to the men out there actually doing the thing over there, I wish nothing but safety and the best in terms of all of their operations. To the guys involved, and again, one of the coolest military operations in a long time, incredibly successful. I wish for your continued safety and quick recovery for those of you who are injured, and I'm glad to have the Wizzo Colonel back. Geopolitically, not as big of a fan. But let's get to some of your guys' support, shall we? And then
John,
we gotta talk gun news. Gotta do it.
Every time you said Wizzo in that segment, somebody commented Lizzo. It did sound a lot like you were saying Lizzo.
Well, it sounds like if you say Lizzo, but with a lisp like trench grenade. So if you say
Wizzo.
Widow, I went to a Wizzo concert last night, and it was really good. She was up on stage jiggling, and I think that Jake liked it a widow too much.
To hide those piggies. What's wrong with you, Jake? Why are you so scared?
That's Wizzo on a watt of Ozempic.
I think someone needs to make a meme of Lizzo parachuting in on a F-15.
Yeah, somebody scratching their head like, what do you mean we got the Wizzo out? What? What was she doing there?
Lizzo's on a parachute with her little fold AR, Hashi.
We're gonna use her as a bunker buster. We're out of Moab, so drop Lizzo. Cody for 10 says the Schutzstaffel sends their regards. Well, thank you very much, Cody. Hope you're having a good night out there. Thank you for your generosity. Zanyco for 2 says, has anyone seen Open Shooter 24? Well, if he's an open shooter, I don't want to see him, but you're loud. Okay, you're kind of like certain groups in America. Okay, open shooters, they're loud. They're obnoxious, okay? They're always argumentative and fighting on the range. Like, open shooters are the worst, okay? We should, keep moving, open shooter. This is a carry optics neighborhood. Thank you, Zany Cub. Heathen from Texas, member for 8 months, says, what's up, my Sigas? Would the Japanese exports? Yeah, some of you guys are more interested in the two-legged Japanese exports than the guns, okay? So I had to put it on the thumbnail. Thank you, Heathen. Lightsport for 2 says, yay, Logan's a Grand Wizard. True. Grand Wizard ceremony, dude. If he goes to a match with a pointy hat, I would laugh so hard. Thank you, Lightsport. Zanico for 5, says, ask Open Shooter 24. I'd have won against that pesky Logan if it weren't for that dagnammit Glock GPT jamming up. Yeah, the Glock performance trigger is fine. It feels good, but issues persist in the most reliable platform ever. I did watch your videos on that, and it's always rough when you're watching like a 34 or a 17 like fail over and over again. It's not fun. Logan for 5 says, technically not a GM yet, which means I don't have to kill myself yet. That gets updated on Wednesday. Now the real pressure is on at majors. Washington State is the first major for me in mid-May. Well, see, that's because you care about majors and actual competitions and stuff like that. I just want to get the title because I think it's funny. It's just funny. That's all. Thank you, Logan. Congrats again. Armor's Wrench for 5 says, anyone got CAD data for a 2011 frame or know when I can find it? Prefer an STL file. I need it for a 5-axis CNC project for my apprenticeship. I mean, listen, 2011 like frames and grips, if you want to figure that stuff out, like there's business opportunities there for sure. I'm not sure where a file is. floating around, but
If you go to SDI, they'll help you with that.
yeah, that's true. Low cost of $25,000. Lightsport for 2 says Michael Bay movie gonna go so hard. That's true. This is gonna be like generational propaganda. Okay, the film, the sequel, the book deal. It's gonna be awesome. The podcast tour. It's gonna be wild, dude. They're gonna get Megan Fox to play like one of the helicopter pilots, even though it totally was all men out there. But they're gonna do it anyways. Thank you, Lightsport. CM Scar for 2 says everyone is gay but me. Fair enough, Scar. Appreciate it. Andy Ray for 2 says it's a go. It's a go. Whatever, bro. Thank you, Andy Ray. Zanika for 2 says Wizzo should have Krinkov. That's I gotta think specifically for this.
This is a retarded take.
Literally anything other than a Krinkov. Literally anything else. A water pistol would be more effective. Lightsport for 5 says we built a FAR but behind enemy lines. Unironically, broken arrow campaign tactics. Yes, we had a we literally stole a abandoned airbase to use for our own purposes for like 12 hours. Brought in unassembled little birds for Delta to reassemble and take on, get our guy, and then get out of there. It is like a quintessential Call of Duty mission. Okay, if that's the opener to a Call of Duty mission, like that's a good time right there. Thank you, Lightspore. Subartic Psycho, remember for 12 months, says 1 year of being best friends with John. That's right. My best friend, Subartic Psycho. I got a lot of friends that are psychos. CM Scar, new channel member. Appreciate that, sir. Dr. Fuzzy, member for 9 months. We just had our birth anniversary for our membership. You're now a fully born member, right? May Allah awaken the people and show them the evil doings of America and Israel. Donald J. Trump. That's basically what he said. Thank you, Dr. Fuzzy. CGB for $20.
We're going to have to come over to your house and kill you. No two ways about it.
PSA, public service announcement. Wear iPro when you do dumb stuff. Or not. F around and find out. Myself this weekend, and was also forced to deal with the libs and youngins in the city to get care. CIK. What does CIK stand for? Could I know? Should have known. Case in point. CIK. What is... I'm too boomer to know what CIK means. But no, yeah, wear iPro so that you do not hurt yourself. I am very sorry to hear that, CJB, but I pray for your quick recovery and that you don't hurt your eyes. Your eyes are one of those things that you kind of like, they're really sensitive, you know? So like if your hand gets cut up a little bit, it's fine. You know, if your arm or your leg gets a little bit of shrapnel, it's okay. Your eyes, not so much, you know, protect your eyes, protect your ears. That's my recommendation for most of you guys. Thank you, CJB.
I think
What's
CIK is Christ is King.
Oh, Christ is King, based. We are Charlie Kirk, close enough. Josh for 10 says, who the hell do you guys think you are? Also, cool watch, Jake. That is a cool watch, Jake. Oh, thank you so much for noticing me. That's exactly how Josh talks, by the way.
Real CAG operators know about the Casio F91W.
CAG certified. Thank you, Josh. Your mother is very proud of you. Enright Boy for 2 says, Jake, get it right. Moms are American mountain muzzies. Morms. Okay, Mormons. Yeah, Mormons are American mountain muzzies. I see what you're saying.
I don't like that. I don't like
Mountain
that specifically
Jews.
Because you said it. So
here's a haterade.
I'm just going to stick to my own thing.
You just hate brown people. Actually, maybe you're just jealous of his shoulders, Jake. You ever thought about that? Maybe you're just jealous of his shoulders.
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right. Amrite Boy for another 2 says, black box, go away, please. By the way, it was OG a temple for Baal. Yeah, the black cube that they all wear and worship. It's just ironic that Jews and Muslims have some similar iconography and symbols and whatnot. You know, strange. Thank you, Amrite Boy. Zany Cup for 2 says, fears about the USA hits if we hit their civilians bad. Well, again, it's an escalation. So it's like if we hit all of their infrastructure, then like they probably will retaliate by hitting our allies' infrastructure, would be my guess. So Dubai, UAE, and other places where they'll just like, okay, if you want to play the game of taking out bridges and power stations, like we can both do that. And again, according to our own intelligence, they still have a large proportion of their ballistic missile capability, so they're just going to do what they do. Thank you, Zany Cope. Amrai Boy from 5 says, new Sean Ryan Show episode 1, Uke section is concerning, making shifts to push public support 100% away from Uke assets needed for Iran. No, you talking about moving support away from Ukraine? Well, yeah, it's like we moved a lot of material out of Korea, South Korea, specifically, and relocated it to help defend Israel, which is problematic considering we actually geopolitically care about South Korea and Japan. We don't actually care about Israel. Like, Israel's not actually important to us in any way, shape, or form, other than the fact that they have nuclear warheads launched at, or pointed at all of our major cities. But it's a little bit of nuclear planning among friends, right?
You know why? The real reason why we care more about South Korea and Japan than Israel? It's because of the women, John. But everyone cares about them.
Well,
more.
yes, geopolitically, in terms of breeding assets, they're much higher quality than what's coming out.
Higher quality women, not brown, not Middle Eastern. I get it, okay? I get it.
Well, I know, but that's why we need to protect our assets in the region, okay?
True.
Thank
we
you,
don't care
Amber.
about Ukraine. We don't care about Israel.
Well,
Korea,
I do care.
Japan.
Ukrainian women are probably hotter than both.
Well,
yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
I guess.
In terms of it, hierarchy, okay? Ukrainian women and,
hands down.
Speaking of hands down, though, or should I say feet down, Mr. 9x19 for $20 says, let's do it. Big toe money time. You know it. You love it. Let me find it. Here it is.
Honey, this is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good. Your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Jake money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody's.
John's like, Jake, what the heck, man? What are you doing, man?
What the frick? I didn't do that. I don't have control over this,
you
bro.
Did. You kind of did.
Also,
you kind of did.
For the record, I prefer the Chinese version of that song because I can't understand the lyrics.
The Jade
And
classic. I can bring it up.
It actually sounds pretty good.
All right, Jake. We're on an excursion here, okay?
Can we get a poll? Can we get a poll in chat? Which version's better?
We don't need a poll, Jake. We can let them listen to it right now, dude.
Okay. Yeah, do it. Whatever.
This one's for free, guys.
This is the
Literally
free
for
one.
free. All right. That's enough. That's enough of that. But it's good, right? It's hard. I have no idea what they're saying. I have no idea what they're saying.
Vietnamese, not Chinese.
Whatever.
What?
It's a Jade classic. Certified Jade classic. Thank you, Mr. 9x19 for the 20. Chud for 2 says, get fit, gents, count your calories, and hit the gym. No, we're going to work out in the gym. I'm tired of hitting it, sir. It's taken enough beating from me. Thank you, Chud. Coral Weezer, member for 9 months. Another fully birthed member. All I need is feet, boy. I'm too gone. Yeah, that's hard line. Hard line. Cicero for 5 says, see the judge ruling the 2A does not protect the right to buy arms. The legal system has lost its credibility. Been waiting on Duncan since 2017. Cicero, we covered that last week.
before anyone else
in a stream. Yeah. Well, we're always first at it, but then everybody like 2 weeks later is, hey, did you see that the gun collection? They put out a video. Did you talk about this? It's like, yes, we did. We do it first. Not best, but we do it first.
that is a name I haven't heard in a while. Duncan Lamp.
Oh, you know what? I just looked on Rumble, Jake.
What?
And I've got bad news for you.
No.
Mr. Noom for $20.
Skibbity toilet Riz. Okay.
Says, I am happy to say that I have finally been properly baptized on Easter Sunday. Mega based. I'm glad to see all the new charismated baptized members of the church. COVID of your choice, okay? Which one was worse, Jake? COVID or Tovid? I have to know.
I don't know, John. I really don't.
开个我在街游戏狂奔，家长越跑越大，我每走出一步，平衡越走越大。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的身躯。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有个双高，兄弟我太飘。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的身躯。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有个双高，兄弟我太飘。在人行道上散。
There you go. All right.
I like that one better because it evokes a negative reaction in the chat. A lot of people don't like it. So I
Totally
do like
bricksed
that.
up. Jarrett over on Rumble for 2 says, Christ is and always has been victorious. Happy Easter season to all. Happy Easter to you, sir. Bushmaster for 5 says, I know it's not what happened, but I envision the downed Wizzo rolling around the hills of Iran with a Bushmaster arm pistol just like Mac W. Gwynn Jr. intended. Yeah, dude, the old Wizzo special or the old Sear special, very, very funny systems. And there's a couple good movies out there about stuff like that. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Bushmaster. Appreciate it.
I love the arm pistol. I wish they'd bring it back.
Look at that. Look at that. Ben is out there reloading. He's doing hard work, and he spilled gunpowder dancing to that song, damn it.
Light it on fire,
good, bro.
Ben. Light it on fire. See what happens.
Dude, somebody dies in a horrible reloading accident while listening to Big Toe Money.
The
You're
cops
in a
arrive.
police report.
The cops arrive on scene. He's like all curled up and stuff, and it's just Big Toe Money playing in the background.
Actually, the more I look at that, why are your toes all laced in gold like they're
Well, that is a real image of me, obviously. I couldn't tell you.
I'm just now noticing all the foot iconography, like that there are people worshiping the feet in the background.
I guess
like,
so,
look
man.
at that.
These toes.
That's not even
That's
my
pretty...
face. Like that, whoever made the image, they didn't use a picture of my face for the AI like training, whatever. It's not even my face. I don't have a mask like that.
But I mean, it's pretty close, right? Like, see, it's there.
No, not even close, bro.
Understand for once for 10 says best 300 blackout 5.56 can for around 600. Well, there's no such thing as the best 300 blackout 5.56 can. However, what you're looking for is a 30 cal can that doesn't suck. So if you're on a budget, whatever the Polo 30, the Otter Creek Labs Polo 30, whatever it's called, is going to be fine. Shoot, what else is it? 600? Maybe an AB 10 in 30 cal.
Is there a best multi-cal can, John? Could you even make that claim?
You could. It's just a can that's really good. You know, it's like a Cat ODB, right? In 30 cal is also going to be really good in 5.56, but that's just because it's a really good can. So as long as you're not shoving 9mm down it, it's probably going to sound pretty good. But is it a good can for 30 cal? And then it'll also do 5.56, but just not as good. So I mean, that's all it is.
But for the price, it is not going to be a good 5.56 suppressor.
No, well, it's $1,200. So
yeah.
No, but if you're for $600, you got the AB10, you got the Polo 30 or whatever the 30 cal can is called from them, and maybe a couple others that are going to be okay for that price.
I would say just get two $600 cans, one for each caliber.
Well, or if you're eventually going to get two different cans, like buy the 30 cal can first, right? So that you can shoot everything through it. And then in your next purchase, get the 5.56 can whenever you can. So but get a can that then is good for 300 blackout. Because sometimes when people say 300 blackout, what they mean is I want a really big, heavy, long can because I'm shooting 300 blackout subs and I want it to be super quiet. And I'm going to put it on a 5-inch barrel, you know? So they're like, oh, well, I need something that's really good.
Yeah.
However, that's not going to be great for 5.56 then.
Yeah. Somebody said Surefire. The Surefire RC3 is not the 30 cal, whatever the 30 cal version is. It's not good. It's really not. Especially not for the price. It performs very poorly on 300 blackout. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that guy, but
you are that guy. Speaking of the guy, okay, the Brown Daily Herald. I'm also heralding a Brown Daily, if you know what I'm saying. But here we go, is a great little reminder of what they want to do to you when they pass new restrictive legislation. And even if something gets grandfathered in, that doesn't mean they're not going to come back for it later and steal it from you. All right. So, well, if I had any confidence that Arrow was going to exist in a year, maybe I would recommend the Lahar. But proposed legislation would ban possession of some semi-automatic guns in Rhode Island. So a 2025 bill already outlawed the manufacture, sale, and purchase of certain semi-automatic guns. But now they, so originally what happened, to give a little bit of background to this, is that Rhode Island passed a semi-automatic weapon ban. However, if you currently possessed them, you would be okay, right? As long as they were purchased before X date. So there's this grandfather clause that protects you if you already had something. However, what Rhode Island is now doing is, even though last year they allowed you to keep it, this year they're saying, well, actually, even the possession of an item that was previously grandfathered, that's now going to be a crime if this passes, which is exactly what they did in California. It's exactly what they did in Washington. Excuse me as I die there. Apologies.
We both just sneezed at the same time, by the way, John.
Are we synced up?
I don't know. This is weird.
That's crazy. We hang out too much. We're on the same cycle. A proposed bill in Rhode Island General Assembly would ban the possession of particular military-style semi-automatic guns, which is, again, these terms are so nebulous and nonsensical. The bill, introduced on February 27th, adds to legislation from last year that banned the manufacture, sale, transfer, and purchase of prohibited firearms. State Senator Tiara Mack. Now, listen. I'm not sure what Star Wars country she's from, but just having a senator that's a female is a bad sign, okay? It's a curse in the book of Isaiah. The primary sponsor of the bill in the Senate told the Herald that the December 13th mass shooting at Brown and the February 16th shooting at Pawtucket spurred a greater legislative push for stricter gun control across the state, though she noted that neither of these cases involved the use of assault weapons. Yeah, it's like, hey, there were 2 shootings that happened over there. No, they don't have anything to do with what we're talking about here, but I still want to pass more restrictive gun control, despite the fact that I'm in one of the safest states in the union, because it's incredibly white. But no, we need to enact more restrictive gun control here. Please, do it now. Mack said she believes the 2025 legislation was not as strong as it could have been, which is anytime your legislators are regulating your rights and they're like, you know what, guys? I think we left you with too much on the table. I think we should take away even more. I don't think last year we had the political appetite to fight back against the small minority of legislators that are prioritizing guns over people. Mack explained that because the U.S. Constitution prevents unlawful seizure of private property, people who currently possess these weapons should potentially be grandfathered in and allowed to keep them. The bill outlines 2 other exceptions who are allowed to possess the prohibited weapons: federally licensed firearms dealers and law enforcement agencies. Why do they always tie in law enforcement to these exemptions? Because that means that they can get the police unions to back them, right? So they'll literally lobby and work with the police unions to get the votes to ban firearms that the average citizen can't have. But as long as you're in LE, you're still good, because again, in this system, there's, in my opinion, a illegal or at least immoral distinction between the citizen and the law enforcement. Like, the law enforcement actually has additional rights above the citizen. So if you work as like a deputy somewhere, you actually have a higher standard. You're like more of a citizen. You have more rights than the lowly citizen, right? In order to finalize the bill's details, Mack said that legislators can look towards other models for possession bans. Currently, about 10 U.S. states, including 2 of Rhode Island's closest neighbors, Massachusetts and Connecticut, also very safe states because they happen to be very white, and several other countries have already implemented similar bans. Although Rhode Island is recognized among the safest states in the country, we believe one bullet causing injury or death is too many. Okay, now do vehicles. Now do
black
minorities.
people.
Yeah, I was like, now do minorities. Yeah, now
Too
let's do
specific.
that. Let's use this logic. Let's use this logic for everybody, okay? One bullet causing death or injury is too much. Okay, what about one woman driver? All right, one Asian female driver, okay? We can't have one injury from
One
these people.
Indian truck driver.
One Indian truck driver. True. All right, Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence Board Chair Ariana, another female, Woolmad05, wrote an email to the Herald. The destructive ripple effects of any incident of gun violence are broad and insidious. Again, just use that logic with anything else, please. But others view this proposal as a case of government overreach. You don't say. State Senator Minority Leader Jessica De La Cruz, again, the savior of the white race is rather brown here, Republican North Smithfield, Burnville, Gloucester, described the proposed possession ban as unconstitutional. Yes, banning the possession of firearms in common use, quite unconstitutional, some would say. Expressing confidence that the Supreme Court will overturn assault weapon bans in the coming years. Even some of my Democrat colleagues who consider themselves pro-gun cannot believe this proposal goes too far. De La Cruz, instead, she argued that we should enforce the laws we already have in place to deal with gun violence. Yes, if you just punish criminals, it tends to work out much better. Mack emphasized that if amendments are proposed that strengthen the bill and address constitutional concerns, I am more than willing to make them. Until the public health crisis guns have caused in the United States is addressed, she added, we will not consider this issue handled. Now, again, if we look at the racial breakdown of violence in America, it's American whites or Europeans who are also Americans commit less violence, lower violence than Europeans, right? Europeans who are currently living in Europe, which to me is quite strange because you would think that the fact that we own more guns than there are people in this country, we have such access to guns in this country, right? That our European people here would have a substantially higher just violence output, I guess, than European countries where it's so restricted, but that just tends not to be the case, right? So again, removing guns from the public isn't going to cause the sections of the public that are causing all the violence in the first place. Again, last week we looked at Minnesota, where literally 6% of the population is committing 62% of all assaults, all aggravated crimes, basically. Only 6% of the population is committing 60%, almost 2/3 of all violence. And again, removing the guns is not going to change that. Outside of legislation, will encourage the secure storage of firearms, blah, 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 action that would reduce suicide by firearm, which makes up the majority of gun deaths. Well, at least they're honest about that. And violence from stolen weapons. She also added that increased education could also help reduce gun violence. I don't think it's the teachers. Well, is they not getting a good lunch? Cautious hope for the future of the bill. I'm always optimistic, but I also understand the history of this country and the gun violence prevention community, she said. It's consistently been an uphill battle. So once again, another state that in another world would be really cool, would be really nice to live in because, it's safe and it's clean and it's homogenous, but they tend to be gay. For some reason, they tend to be the most obnoxious types of people. Yeah, more trains. Now, speaking of European-style gun control or failure to gun control, it always, when we look at our own Secret Service and some of the snafus and issues that we've had, like whether they're getting honeypotted by James O'Keefe, whether they're shooting themselves in the butt while protecting Jill Biden, whether they're failing to protect President Trump, at Butler or at any of these other Secret Service snafus, it's at least a kind reminder to know that the European Secret Service is not any more competent as the Police officers tasked with guarding the London mayor, Sir Sadiq Khan, very funny sounding name, left a bag containing guns on the street outside of his home. 5 officers believed to have forgotten the holdall, which was found on the curbside around 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, guns, a little illegal in certain contexts over in the UK, not super gun friendly, not super pro gun over there. And when your security detail for your gay Muslim terrorist, which is funny because that was one of the mean tweets that he read out on one of those late night shows. Sadiq Khan is a gay Muslim terrorist. Your security detail is leaving a full auto MP5 outside and a Glock 17. I don't know if it's a full auto MP5, but yeah, they're leaving an MP5 and a Glock 17 outside of your residence in a bag, which has got to be an awkward conversation later on, right? You're the police detail. You're like, yeah, Jimmy, where's the bag with the guns, yeah? What bag? I thought you got the bag. No, you got the bag. And it's like, oh, they go back and it's some Muslim guys just walking down the street carrying these. It's like, oh, my lucky day.
Oh, bollocks, we forgot the guns.
Bollocks, man, don't get the bag.
If I found this on the sidewalk out front of my house, I would look up in the sky and praise Allah for this blessing.
Praise Allah, that's right.
Which had been bestowed upon me.
It's in the car, innit? It's in the car. Hey, pop the bonnet. We'll check if it's in the car, innit?
It's in the boot. I think it's in the boot, right?
Hey, mate, I think I have my water bottle in it.
Oh no, let's go get some bacon and mash. Let's go get some peas. Some peas and
yeah,
toast.
maybe it was an intentional drop, and they're just using the fact that they're the London mayor's security detail to drop it on purpose so that the Muslim gangs can get access to firearms, Maybe.
They already have access to the firearms. They're guarding the mayor.
Okay, no.
That's true.
Okay, no.
Yeah, now
the breakdown is of the 5 people.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That's the thing, though. A lot of these people from invading communities don't sign up to be they don't actually sign up to be serving the community in a lot of ways. They're not like productive members of society in a lot of ways. So I mean, I'm totally fine with blaming it on DEI incompetence, but I also wouldn't be above just blaming pure British incompetence. Okay, they literally fumbled one of the greatest empires that the world has ever seen, and I'm just gonna say it. Okay, the third world, India, was better under British control. There it is. I said it. Okay, bring back the British Empire.
You know why they fumbled it, right?
Winston Churchill, retard.
No, I was gonna say because they didn't season their chicken.
Oh no, dude. Ambient 129 has a very real toast, and I agree with them completely. Most real end result of it'll be a sick bag gun, bro.
Yeah, true, dude. Sick bag gun, bro. Sick bag gun. Yeah, that's somebody else's bag now. Now, speaking about getting the bag, Jake, okay? The floodgates, the legs have been opened on Japanese exports for fire. I think that's how you phrase that.
John, that is not how you phrase anything that's in the Bible, okay? I'll tell you that much.
None of those words are in the Bible, John. I know the biggest words, the best words. When asked about my favorite book of the Bible, I would say all of them equally. Definitely. But so anyways, the new administration in Japan, and this is, to me, this is funny and interesting, but also a sign of the times a little bit, because Japan is opening up the exports of lethal firearms. Okay, the new administration that's in, a little bit hardline, a little bit conservative, and they see the rising tension, not only now in the Middle East, not only in Europe, not only now in their own hometown, in their own backyard, with China and others in the region, but they are seeing a need to further align themselves and integrate themselves with the West and with the global market, especially when it comes to firearms. So for a long time, it's been very difficult for Japan to export their military, like lethal firearms. However, the new administration, in a ploy to, again, further integration with the West, with Europe, is signaling that they're going to be opening up the export of their military style firearms, which means that we could see potentially some cool modern firearms, but also some firearms that for you retro nerds, you're going to be like, oh, I really want that thing because it's actually kind of cool. Now, Japan, while it's not a major player when it comes to producing firearms, they are actually the number 7th largest importer of firearms. So they buy from everybody else. And I think that they're trying to maybe even the scales a little bit and increase their country's production. And to do that, they need somebody to buy the stuff, which is going to be me and you, hopefully. So, some of the options that I was pulling up just for fun. So we have the Eastern CZ Bren 2, I guess you would call it. You have the Howa Type 20, which is designed to be integrated with the Beretta GPX, their Italian grenade launcher. It's a piston rifle. It's quote unquote their most modern firearm that they have, that they just brought into service last year, I want to say. And it's very SCAR Bren 2, not really ACR. I would call it kind of a mix between the Bren and the SCAR, but it's a very interesting firearm. And if we could get this one in the States, this is the one option that would be like, okay, I would check this out. A Howa Type 20 or whatever they're going to call it for the US market, that would be cool. Okay, if you're going to give us Japanese imports, I'll take a Type 20, please.
Is it going to have the cool Japanese writing on the selector switch like that?
I hope so. Now, it probably won't have the funny third position here. Now, originally in testing, they had it as a burst functionality. So it was, safe, semi, and 3-round burst. The current implementation of it, I believe, just has the full auto. Okay, so it's a little bit simpler in that. Now, of course, the exported versions to pass our import restrictions, you're probably going to have to partner with some U.S. manufacturer for a few of the parts. It's not going to be... they'll maybe be imported as pistols and then be fit with a different stock or, whatever else that they have to do to get it through our ATF restrictions, of course, because all of our import restrictions still apply. However, Japan is signaling that they want to start exporting these types of firearms.
I do think it's funny. It does kind of look like a Call of Duty gun, just like generic Call of Duty gun.
Yeah, it looks generic like Call of Duty firearm. Yes.
Yeah, generic Call of Duty second unlock assault rifle. Also, it would be really funny if they they're new to this whole import game and they just accidentally send them out with the funny switch. That would be really funny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that wouldn't pass import inspection in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I mean, it's got the UGG boot look. So in the back half, it's kind of a SCAR. It's got the aluminum extrusion. It's not a one piece. It's not monolithic. It's got like the 2 or 3 piece adjustable gas block up front, which is very Bren 2, very Sig 516 looking. It's not a bad looking rifle. Okay, it's a little odd, kind of like their women. Okay, it's not bad looking, just a little odd. Just a little odd. It's fine.
Much like the women, are the ejection ports slanted? Somebody
are the what?
Are the ejection ports slanted?
Dude, how funny would that be? Yeah, it's not quite straight.
Yeah, no, they're sideways actually. At least that's what I heard, that they're sideways.
Now I'm
not been
curious.
able to confirm that in person. So,
in what is 274,000 yen, which sounds like an accurate number. That's apparently yen to USDs. Okay, so they're going to be expensive. So in Japan, they're about 274,000 yen, because I always forget that other people's currency is like basically meaningless, but in their own country, these things cost about 17 hundo. So yeah, 271k tops. But that means export, probably 3,000. Probably 3,000. That would be my guess for after, export fees, import fees, distributor cuts, probably about $3,000, which is kind of expensive. But again, it's novel. It's neat. Okay. Now there's some other firearms
into the American market, unless they sell them for cheaper into the American market. You never know.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how they could, because that's like because obviously they're not selling them to Japanese civilians. That's their price to the Japanese military is about 275. So if they're charging the Japanese military 17 hundo, I imagine like that's pretty close to the cost of the rifle, plus or minus 20%. Well, obviously Plus 20%.
This is a
I guess.
Black Ops 1 gun right here. I like this.
Yeah, so this is the mini bay, the Minbia, the mini bay, I'm gonna call it, EM9, which is a Uzi derivative, kind of. So it's a telescoping bolt on the inside, and stick mag, fully auto, neat little thing, I guess. It's an Uzi clone, if that's your thing, a Japanese Uzi. Again, it's Eastern, so it's probably manufactured fine, but it's just a little odd looking. It's just a little odd looking. It's a bit of ingenuity going on there. You can see the safety selector is 3-position slider, which I like. One of these with a FRT would probably be hilarious. Not controllable, not useful, but hilarious. The Uzi. Oh, that's good. Yes. Yes, the Uzi. Sorry, I can switch the voice for this. I know Jake was asking for it. So this is the
Uzi? The Uzi? Is that working for you, Jake? Do you like that? I bet you do. You love it when I do that, don't you? The Habano sidearm from Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah. True. TP9. Yeah, I mean, it kind of has that vibe to it. It's more Uzi than anything else. I love seeing the light disappear from Jake's eyes when I talk. Oh, hey, don't be calling me mommy. That's wrong. Don't do that. Don't do that. What else do we got though? We got the Howlett Type 89. Anybody want a battle rifle? Like, what is this? Like a G3 clone? Is that what we're looking at here? That could be cool. Still in service right now in limited applications. Very, very Cold War vibes. Okay, this is looking home in Black Ops 1. For sure. One more, okay, the Uzi.
Wow, guys, come on. Jake just dying down there. Oh my gosh. Zanico, no, stop it. Stop it. That's a man. That's a man, dude.
John, do you see how horny the chat gets when you start using that girl voice? It's disgusting.
Yeah, you know what they're the horniest for though, Jake? You know what it is. It's every time you're on, it's BTM.
I'm gonna get some scissors. I'm gonna get some scissors and cut my toes off. How about that?
Don't do it, Jake. Ooh, if you do cut them off, you gotta put them in a jar. Put them in a jar and auction them off. Big money. Big money. Big money. Big toe money. That's right. And then what else we got? Okay, so this is the G3. This is the G3 looking thing. I mean, it's hideous, and it's very Japanese with a top straight up and down charging handle. This is the weird thing to me. It's like Japanese engineering is like in the modern context is like, oh, it's really good and it's fantastic. It has not always been that way. And as this image is struggling to load 1 pixel at a time, but look at that top
John's
handle
on that dial up.
Dude, I guess, man. What the heck? What is going on with you?
Jake, they're already.
Is it actually just taking that long? No, it's got to be Wikipedia. It's not me, bro. But anyways, get off my screen. Thank you. Actually, if I do download it, will it load faster? No, it won't. It's got to be Wikipedia's fault. Get off my screen. Anyways, but no, a top charging handle that obviously breaks the line of sight between your iron sights. Like, how retarded is that? Like, why would you do that?
Well, they did make a rifle at one point in time that had the sights offset to the right or left.
Yes, to get around
John,
it.
they've never quite been the same ever since we dropped the nukes.
But it seems that this is like a lot closer to when we actually dropped the nuke on them versus this is like the modern Japan. So the further they've gotten away from the nuke, like the better they've gotten, right? Because this looks almost normal, okay? So what I think here is what this is really important. What this is showing us is that if you drop 2 nukes on a people, it's going to take approximately 80 years for them to catch up to the rest of the world. So my theory, though, is if we're going to nuke Iran, we need to drop 3 nukes to see whether it increases the time to return to normalcy or decreases the time. Because my theory here is that there's a certain like most efficient, most efficacious number of nukes to drop on a country where they return to normalcy. And so we have to keep experimenting until we figure out what is the proper amount of nukes to drop on a country so that they can recover the fastest. Okay. So in the long term, this is very, what's the word I'm looking for? This is very kind. Okay. This is very, right. Cause I'm trying to find the optimum amount. Okay.
You're a kind man, John. I mean, hey.
Well, I'm doing this for the betterment of humanity. Okay. Cause if we drop 10 nukes and like, they're just all dead, like obviously that's too much. So then we have to kind of like work our way back to figure out what the proper amount of nukes is.
Do you think Iran, like in isolation, would develop ramen and anime as well?
Well, see, that's interesting, right? So if we did 3 nukes, would we have gotten something even more degenerate, or would it have been less degenerate? So maybe
I like ramen. Ramen's good.
What if we're going to leave them to their own devices? We should restrict them on an island, much like Japan. So let's leave them Karg Island and take the rest of Iran.
Jake, do you have the Rumble chat open?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why?
Well, somebody just dropped. First off, unfortunately, they're fighting each other over there, I guess. But Baseball Kid drops $20 and says the Big Toe Money OG. But then he follows up with $100 on Rumble and says Big Toe Money second rap song in full, please. Which I believe he wants the Jade version, right? Jade version?
No, I think he want the full
both.
Music video that Andrew
Do you want the
made?
music video or do you want Jade?
I think
they're clamoring for it.
Mr. Jake, a second donation has
hit the chat.
Holy shit!
Oh,
dude.
well, I'm waiting for him to tell me over on Rumble which one he wants. But while
We
we're
need
waiting,
confirmation. Aren't there
while
like
we're waiting
3
for that,
people on Rumble? Like, I'm just surprised at this. I guess
it averages like 40 to 60 people over on Rumble watching, so it's not terrible.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, take money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Take money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
Dude, every time. That's a good one. Gets me going every time, dude. Not in that way, Jake, but it does get me going for sure.
It's on my TV in the background.
Heck yeah, dude.
I hate that.
Okay, so have he confirmed yet? Baseball Kid,
Yes.
ID Rumble,
He
so
said
y'all
all
have
of
more
them.
cut of the money on YouTube. Baseball Kid, I hate to break it to you, but I think Rumble takes as much as YouTube. I think Rumble takes 50% of all super chats. I think.
So
Rumble's not good for that.
It might be different now, but the thing that they sent me back in the day, they took less. It was supposed to be like 20% unless you've been referred, in which case it's 15.
It's definitely more than that, because I know they take 50% of all the small super chats. Like anytime it's 2, 5, or 10, they take like literally 50% of it. But no, I have a Ko-Fi link over there, which they only take 5%. So Ko-Fi link is like the preferred method.
Baseball Kid, in donating John $100, you actually are costing John more money because he has to pay taxes on that, and he's getting taxed from Rumble, so he actually ends up owing money at the end of that donation.
Well, no, listen, Baseball Kid, do not feel bad about it. He's like, oh well, you're incredibly generous, but I'm just saying, like, if you donated 50 on Ko-Fi, you would save a lot of money, and I would make the same amount. So I mean, like, listen, like, you do you, okay, but that is incredibly generous, and I'm just trying to not waste your money. However, speaking of wasting your money. Is it Jade? Baseball?
Yes.
He says all of them, but I can't play all of them. That's too much. Everybody's going to leave the show. Everybody's going to leave the show if I do that.
He did say he wanted the Jade one.
Oh, he wants the Jade one. Okay. Whew. At least I'm going to play that one. Where'd it go? Where did I put it? Well, the Jade Empire has spoken. It is the year of the Jade.
I think everybody already left.
Yeah, everybody's gone now. It's fine.
只要有点双脚，兄弟我太飘。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的神曲。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有点双脚，兄弟我太飘。我的光脚真爽，你那脚也该爽。你们弹着烟都坐在草地上。眼前大叫着钞票，那是更大一张。我一走进来，大伙儿全在看。这场游戏我在跑，兄弟我是空难，我是第一个混子，脚上长两指。我在街上穿行，你得看好我这背景。翻开我的钱包，绿的像只壁虎，花的钱是纸糊。大家只说你好，开口我在街游戏狂奔，家长越跑越大。我每走出一步，平衡越走越大。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的神曲。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有点双脚，兄弟我太飘。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的神曲。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有点双脚，兄弟我太飘。在人行道上散步，光着脚，甩动我的脚脚，你想怎样瞧？不开玩笑，我这叫做回应潮。打开那金库，大叫着满是红票。吊着有套房，我反倒没套房。吊着有对象，我现在还单身吗？赢10万存款全是靠钓具，哎，我光凭着双脚就能混日子。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的神曲。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有点双脚，兄弟我太飘。遇见大叫着钞票，这是惊吓的神曲。你说好笑不？光脚走上舞台，只要有点双脚，兄弟我太飘。
Nice. Based. Bro, Baseball Kid, thank you for the 100 on Rumble. You are incredibly based just for making Jake sit through all of that nonsense.
Thanks, Baseball Kid. I love you.
Mr. Noom for 2 says, how much for cut off Jack toes? I think you mean Jake toes. Jake, how much would you auction your toes off for science?
$20. Why not?
Somebody was already betting or
$20, bro. They'll
500.
pay you way more for that. You are low balling yourself. Okay.
I never want to have to work again in my life. Okay. No low ball offers. Whatever will get me enough. Whatever will get me enough injectable illicit substances to end my life.
As long as we're talking not the real Type 97, I'll take the T81. Okay. Baseball Kid gifted 1 subscription over on Rumble. Appreciate that, sir. Oh, Jarrett says, Christ is and always has been victorious. Happy Easter season to all. I'll read that again just because it's based. Oh, Jarrett says, for 2, says, shout out to Baseball Kid for buying me a sub. Well, you are quite welcome from me, from Baseball Kid to me to you. All right. Now, I am going to forewarn you. We're going to get through the rest of these supers really fast, and then we're going to get into Rage Bait. And the first story in Rage Bait is very grotesque. So if you do not wish to be here, you should leave. Like, it's very disturbing. So if you wish to not be here for that, you should leave. And I'm telling you that as somebody who shows all manner of disturbing things every show. And I'm telling you that the first story, if you're uncomfortable or queasy, you should leave. All right, there's your warning. Genotion for 5 says, I work for an ammo company. This is old news, but ammo prices will not drastically change. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'm going to have to make a panic buying video right now to disprove you, okay? Listen, I'm going to cause the panic to prove you wrong. That's how it's going to go. Thank you, Genotion. Amorai Boy for 2. Sorry, the candidates for We Sup Court are both women. Wisconsin Superior Court. Bro, that is sad. You can almost guarantee that they're going to make the opposite of the right decision. Thank you, Amorai Boy. Zanico for 2 says, Richard the thing I just sent you, please.
On it.
Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate it. Mitt Rhombus for 5 says, do you have a link to both versions of that song you played earlier, as I can't find either of them? I have the other one downloaded, and I don't have the link to the other one, but I can get them. Post them. I need to post them to the Focus Tracks channel. That's what I need to do. Thank you, Mitt Rhombus. Chud McGill for 2 says, more pissed in guns, plus £2 for no real benefit. It's true. The benefits aren't real. They can't hurt you. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate it. Cody Fisher for 5 says, any idea of optics package, lasers, light scopes, etc. Japan is forecasting to outfit them with? Yeah, so Japan, I actually looked into this earlier. Their rifles come with a Comp M5, an EOTech EXPS 2, I want to say, or the March Shorty 1-8. So pretty for a smaller military, albeit, but pretty based, pretty baller for their optic selection. So you either get the March Shorty 1-8, or you get the Aimpoint Comp M5 or the EOTech EXPS 2, I want to say. It might be the 3, though. I could be wrong about that. So pretty based as far as optic selection goes. Focus Dream Gooner for 2 says, don't stop, John. I'm almost there. The mommy voice does it for those peeps. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, Jake cries out in pain as Candace lip syncs BTM. True, you know Candace is dancing to that, Jake.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Appreciate that, sir. Jim Eagle for 2 says, if I get to 580 subscribers this stream, I'll $20 BTM. Well, let's see, Jim Eagle. Fine. This should be easy enough to do if I artificially bump the numbers to make $20. You're just buying a $20 shout out at that point, Jim Eagle. You're gaming the system. Dude, you are totally operator maxing right now, Jake.
And I was just listening to a song that Andrew sent me.
Is it good?
It's a trench grenade diss. I feel like he's just doing it to try and make me feel better at this point. So,
well, is it hot? Should we listen to a trench grenade diss? Is it good?
I didn't listen to it all the way. It sounds good, but I mean, I don't know.
Could be an intro. Anyways, I dropped the link to Jim Eagle in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, Jim Eagle is a grifter. He's a chud. Okay.
Breach.
He's an anti-Semite, racist.
He's probably an incel too.
He's an incel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a really bad person. You guys should not follow him.
Get rid of that guy. Kill that man with hammers, please. Amrite Boy for 5 says, my 544 cents per round LEO trade-in Federal American Eagle 55 grain came in today. Okay, well, good. Glad to hear it. Glad to see that you got some ammo for good money. I also got like 1,000 rounds of that Federal American Eagle stuff for about that price. It's pretty good. Decent stuff. Absolutely decent stuff. Okay. Well, I think that's it. Let me check. Actually, there's one over here on Ko-Fi. So, Sabardic Psycho for 10 says, the pain in my kidneys has subsided. I don't know what that was, but I refuse to go to a doctor. Yes, very Semitic doctors. I mean, depending on where you are, it can be pretty good. You know, you go to like a small-time practitioner and they'll be much more wholesome. Rural doctors are the best. Okay, that's what I'll say about that. You can still find some real doctors out there. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that the pain has subsided from you. So, well, I did give you guys warning, so here we go, jumping into it. So, baby Samuel was aborted at 16 weeks and survived. Here he is, sucking his thumb as he was left to die. He lived for 30 minutes. No one picked him up, wrapped him, or gave him any medical care to alleviate his pain and suffering. He was perfectly healthy prior to his abortion. This is not healthcare. This is cruelty. Now, I am going to reveal the image, but yes, it is a 16-week-old baby that what they call in this satanic mockery of life a botched abortion, meaning that they ripped him from his mother's womb because the mom said, yeah, you know what? Kill my baby. I don't care. And because they did this, they don't classify this as a real human being. So they put it in a room where mothers of miscarriages go, usually, and the baby was still alive. Again, they consider this a botched abortion at 16 weeks. So it lived outside of the womb, sucking its thumb for 30 minutes, and no one provided any care to it or tried to in any way, shape, or form, because the mother has the decision to say whether or not this is a real life. And if that's the precedent that we want to say, that you, the individual can decide whether or not someone has value of life, well, why can't I decide that the mother, the doctors that performed this operation are also not deserving of life in this for what I consider to be straight up murder? Somebody says, "Oh, it's 16 weeks. That's totally legal to abort and murder this." And again, this is a little child ripped out of its mother's womb at 16 weeks. It survived on its own for 30 minutes, sucking its thumb, wanting. Like, imagine being a child, the most vulnerable thing in existence, ripped from your mother's womb, the thing that's supporting you, because the mom thought you were an inconvenience. Because the mom didn't want to take care of you. And because of that, you are left alone to die. The doctors that perform this ritualistic satanic murder ceremony upon you. Distressing photo appears to show aborted baby sucking thumb while left to die. So Dr. Johanna Ho, a professor of law at the University of Adelaide, a pro-life activist, shared a photo of quote-unquote baby Samuel on Twitter last week, who was said to have been aborted alive and left to die in what's known as a butterfly room, a special suite for parents who experience stillbirth, Ho wrote. This is baby Samuel, born alive after an abortion at 16 weeks. He sucked his thumb in the butterfly room at a QLD hospital. He lived for over 30 minutes. He was perfectly healthy prior to his abortion. Babies who survive their abortion have no legislative right to equal treatment and care under QLD law. He was left to die. No one picked him up, wrapped him, or gave him any medical care to alleviate his pain and suffering. This photo, who was passed on to me by a hospital worker who was called to look at him by others who are watching him as he sucked his thumb after his abortion. Already it is being censored online, and pro-abortion activists are seeking to identify the brave whistleblower who risked their career to give us this photo. And again, this is just a little baby boy who was absolutely murdered at the hands of a doctor, and unfortunately the mother as well, who is absolutely complicit in this crime against humanity. If it's not, I don't care whether or not it's legal in Canada where this took place, it is certainly a crime against God and his kingdom and will be judged. Samuel's picture has spread around the globe thanks to social media, but pro-abortion groups and Townsville Hospital in Queensland are claiming that there is no evidence that Samuel is an abortion victim who was born alive and left to die. Townsville Hospital is said to be investigating the situation as a privacy breach, and The Guardian reported no evidence was given to support that Samuel was born alive during an abortion, and health experts have previously said claims by anti-abortion activists that a large number of babies are born alive after abortions are misleading. However, abortionists have admitted that babies are born alive during abortions. In an episode of her podcast, Howe shared testimony from Dr. Elisha Broom, acting director of obstetrics at Logan Hospital and counselor for Oranjecog. Broom said, "We should be really clear that baby born alive at these gestations, say 16 to 22 weeks, resulting from an abortion, it's not a failed abortion. It's not unexpected, unintended consequence. We know these babies will be born alive, but they're pre-viable, which means that they are not yet at the age where they are viable. So they are, again, they have no rights. They're not considered humans at the discretion of the mother, which is, again, satanic. Again, I'm not interested in women's rights. I'm much more interested in currently discussing women's wrongs, okay? The 19th Amendment and its consequences will be studied for generations to come. And it is something that absolutely needs to be repealed, done away with. I am uninterested in giving women rights to do almost anything. Howe also shared this testimony from a whistleblower midwife, Louise Adset, who works at the same hospital as Broom. Adset testified that she had witnessed babies being born alive after abortions from 15 to 22 weeks, that they were gasping for air, moving, and having a palpable heart rate, she said, adding that they were alive for up to 5 hours. She noted that the babies born alive during abortions are often put into plastic devices used in toilets to collect urine, are covered, and then taken from the room to die. And in my opinion, when these situations arise, when these events, and here's the tragic thing, the whistleblowers in this, like even if you were the person in the room with that baby, there is nothing you can do. They are truly pre-viable, meaning that they have been murdered by the doctor and the mother, and they are merely awaiting their death, right? I mean, it's like if I slit your throat, you might be alive for a short amount of time, but you are in fact dead. Like, just, it's a matter of time before you bleed out. In this case, whether the children have a heart attack, whether they die of suffocation, whether they die of exposure, whatever it is going to be, they are on a timer and they are going to die. And it is that evil that we've allowed to propagate and continue in our system, which is why I'm not particularly interested in the continuation of the system as it stands, right? When half of the country celebrates that as an empowering act for women, I'm no longer interested in empowering women.
Yeah. This is one of those things that people don't want to see. And I think it's important for us to see, because I think you can get lost in this very theoretical space when it comes to stuff like this, and you start to just you start to lose your frame of reference on what this actually means. But seeing that, I mean, a baby, a human being, you know, with a soul, healthy in the womb, ripped out, so healthy that he lived for, 30 minutes outside of the womb, like, man, what are we doing, bro? Why do people, and I know the answer. I know the answer why people do this and why they think it's acceptable. And it's because they don't know God, because they value themselves over anything else. They are their own God. They value themselves over anything, even to the point of ending the life of a unique soul, a human being, just out of convenience. And man, guys, if this does not make you sick, you need to look inward and reevaluate some things. This is evil. This happens all the time, all over the world. And
well, yes, I want it to be difficult to look at.
Yeah, and you gotta see this stuff, guys. Like, I know it can be hard to look at this kind of stuff, but you need to see this. You need to know what's happening. You really do. We should not allow something like this to take place. We always make the jokes about, the Jews sacrificing babies to Moloch. Maybe they're not jokes, but we always talk about that. This is real. This is happening right now in our world, in our country, in our hometowns.
On an industrial scale.
Yes.
These are not one-off accidents, yeah. Right? And then you look into where some of these body parts end up, what they get used for, and what they'll even admit to, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to express it, but this is absolute evil, and you really don't get the chance very often to see what absolute evil looks like, how it plays out, but that is absolute evil.
And this is why when somebody, a leftist or someone, like, imagine debating Carl Casarda, right? Who's like, abortion is women's rights, dog, and I love trans people. And it's like, wait a second. Your whole worldview, like anybody who has this leftist, progressive, Marxist paradigm, you're so satanic and evil. I actually don't want to have a conversation with you. Like, no part of your system can be allowed to be put in place. You are so comically, satanically evil, so against God's divine law. I'm not interested in maintaining your rights in any way, shape, or form, right? It's like, on one side you have like literal chopped up babies, and then the other side's like, but you'll have to be mean to women. Wow, damn, telling women to not be whores and to, sorry, you got to keep the baby. Or like, I don't know, chopped up babies being left to die outside of the womb, and being used in all these other literal industrial pharmaceutical processes. I'm like, damn it, which one is it? Shoot, what do I got to do here? tell
Yeah,
women they're
the thing
wrong or allow the
thing that
blood
bothers
sacrifice of my people.
The thing that really bothers me is they act like adoption isn't even an option. My aunt and uncle tried for over a decade to have a child. They could not. My aunt could not conceive. They ended up adopting. The process was so long and so expensive that they almost backed out of it because it just took so many years. And they ended up going through with it. And now, 25 or 26 years later, I've got a wonderful cousin. It tears me apart to know that they think that they have to kill it, that's the only option.
Well, I see even that like discussion like trying to frame it as some sort of like healthcare or convenience or something when like the vast majority of abortions are purely elective, meaning that the woman just decides that she can have it. I reject that framing entirely. Like no quarter shall be given. No, not one step back. No reason at all to parlay with these people in any way, shape, or form. Like their worldview that supports Samuel laying on a bed by himself, sucking his thumb for 30 minutes while he's gasping for air, has a heart attack, and dies, whatever it might be. Whatever system allows that to happen, I'm not particularly interested in. In fact, I would say that it is your duty as a man, especially as a Christian man, to upturn that system, to burn that system down. Right? And that's why it is important to recognize the evil underlying our everyday lives, right? Because if you don't look at it, if you never lift up the carpet to see what's underneath, if you never look in that closet, you can kind of go through your day-to-day life without really caring. Oh, sure, evil happens there and evil happens here, but it doesn't affect me, so I can just keep going on my life. It's the libertarian fantasy, right? Oh, you can do whatever you want in your own home or over there, or it's not in my town, and I wouldn't do that, but you can have your right to do that. Which is why, again, the libertarian fantasy is just the allowance of evil and the allowance for evil to continue to multiply. And so I'm not a libertarian, not a conservative. I don't think there's anything left to conserve. And this is not just isolated to Canada. If you don't think this has also happened in the U.S., with even later term abortions, you are sorely mistaken. A hospital in the UK admitting to using dead fetuses to burn in their generators, right? That article came out not too long ago. It's like the evil is widespread, the decadence is set in, and it's a poison, it's a cancer, and it has to be cut out. Full stop. You can't remove half the cancer. You can't remove 0.25% of the cancer. You got to get rid of all of it.
It absolutely is happening here, like you said. How many years ago was it? Governor candidate Ralph Northam for Virginia went on public radio and bragged about post-birth abortions.
Now, I totally agree with you. The left says the same thing about us. Correct. And that's the war that that's the fight that you have to realize that you are in. The left wants to kill you for being Charlie Kirk, for being a normie conservative, okay? If you like the nuclear family and don't like mass immigration, you're a Leheckin Nazi and they want to kill you. You should recognize that. Of course, I'm far more radical than that. I'm far more right-wing than that. But they would kill the centrists at will. Do not kid yourself. And so there is a Cold War going on right now for the soul of the country. And this happens all throughout history. So I don't want you guys to be black-pilled about how evil the world is. The world's always been evil, and it's always been good men standing up against it. That is always the way things go. A culture rises, it becomes decadent, it falls, and something else replaces it. Our culture is decadent, it's about to fall. We will replace it with something new. That's just the way it goes.
Yes, and that will happen. It has to happen, actually. Because if it does not happen, like you said, it's a cancer, literally killing 25% of my generation, right? Dead because of this. That's a thing, guys. Like, we will die. millions of people, innocent people, are dying because of this. Humans. And if we do not do something about it, we will cease to exist. And we can do something about it. Just because something is, it just is what it is, that doesn't mean it will be that. We know ultimately Christ wins, right? But the Christian thing to do, I know people will say the Christian thing to do is just, love everyone and whatever. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. The Christian thing to do is to go out and say, this is wrong. This is right. We're going to do this, not that. Okay? We can be bold and not be afraid to do that because it is objectively evil, and we Christians have the ability to change this. We do. We're just lazy. We can change this. And if you give up, if you just say, "Oh, it's just how the world is. They've been doing this for thousands of years." Sure, they've been doing it for thousands of years. This should not have a place in your state, in your country. It shouldn't have a place anywhere in the world.
The white pill is that they have been doing this for thousands of years, and somebody has put a stop to it every time. So your goal in life is just to be the man that puts a stop to it, right? Christ himself, when he saw his temple was being defiled with money changers and people profiting off of the sacrifice within the temple, famously made a whip, flipped tables, and drove people physically from the temple, okay? Our temple, our country is in far worse shape. And again, I would say that we have a duty to fight for our nation, for our people, right? In the same way Christ fought for his, we should fight for ours. And there are plenty of examples from the early church, from the early saints, of using force in a moral, justified way, whether you're, Catholic and you have some sort of Aquinas justified war theory, or maybe it was Augustine, maybe I got that wrong. But either way, okay, being Christian isn't being some generic nicety that your evangelical pastor told you in megachurch on Sunday, okay? We stopped the Muslim invasions into Europe. We turned back the Ottomans at Vienna, okay? It wasn't the pagans. It wasn't the North Odin worshipping people that turned back the Ottomans at Vienna. No, it was us. It wasn't the pagan Celts that turned back the Muslims in Spain over 700 years. No, it was us. It was always Christian men standing against evil.
Snake Pit Skeleton said this goes far beyond Christianity. This should be a basic instinct as a living creature to continue your species. Abortion is vile. To me, that is kind of like the sign that this is a Christian thing. This whole thing about like, oh, you gotta find a way to continue your species. That's obviously some kind of myth here, guys. Like, people are very obviously not concerned about continuing their bloodline or continuing their species because they're not getting married, they're not having kids, and when they do have kids, they kill them. So this whole idea that like, oh, people, it's as a species we naturally seek to stay alive and preserve our life, and it's just it should be like that. No, that is. I think the natural inclination of man is to fall into these types of depravity. This is life. This is the world without Christ. That's what that is.
So this is why, and I don't mean to single you out, Snake Pit Skeleton, but your natural intuition of right and wrong really only comes from a Christian paradigm. If you look at a purely naturalistic worldview, like monkeys murder, rape, and kill other people's children, if you're trying to use just from an evolutionary perspective, what could possibly be right or wrong in an evolutionary perspective? What? Like, what? How do you determine rights? How do you determine bad in an evolutionary worldview? You can't. You cannot. It's not possible, right? You can say, oh, well, it's preferential based on what's best. It's like, well, yeah, but then we argue about what my preferences are versus your preferences, right? There's no objective right or wrong in an evolutionary paradigm, right? You always have to appeal to a Christian line of ethics. For really meaning in general, right? The possibility of knowledge doesn't make sense without a God. All right. Well, I would apologize, but that's not what we do around here. The world is evil. We are in the world, not of the world, and we are standing against it. And the world should hate us. And as Christians, that is the white pill. The world should dislike us. The world should despise us, and we should be opposed to it. And that's our job. So get used to it. It's very easy to be a Christian in the modern times where we face very little persecution, but 11 out of 12 of Christ's disciples were martyred for the faith. So that time may be coming back.
My challenge to anybody that like closed out or didn't look at that portion, I would highly encourage any of you guys to go back and look at that, because if you just like, ooh, it's gross, I don't want to see it, or you feel like you're gonna have some kind of emotional reaction, good, you should go back and look at it and actually witness this, because it's important.
Yep. Okay. Well, that was the worst bit of rage bait. So for the squeamish people in chat, the rest of this is just normal rage bait. Okay. So here we have a Swedish father, and Sweden has been one of those countries that's been hit the hardest, that they had, roving rape games in some of these places, just stealing Swedish women off the streets and doing all sorts of horrible things to them. And their country has been largely destroyed in a lot of ways. Their cohesion has been gone. And these people just can't figure out what's going wrong in their world right now.
Min son har blivit rånad 3 gånger. 2 gånger.
So I'll read it out for you guys, since he is, of course, Swedish, speaking in a silly language. Twice by Somalis, once by an Arab. This is talking about his son being robbed by people while walking around his city. He's 19 years old and has already been robbed 3 times. Now, I don't know about you guys. Obviously, Richard, Florida man, may have had more interactions with muggings and getting beat up. But Jake, getting mugged in my day-to-day life, not usually a problem. Did you agree?
Not if you live your life in such a way to stay away from certain people groups. At least from what I've seen in my experience.
All right, so he's 19-year-old. He's marked for life. He doesn't dare go out alone. There were no problems in Gothenburg before when I was his age. Well, let's check the demographics of Gothenburg in the 1990s versus 2026, and I think we'll figure out some of the issues. So he's saying his son, in his own home, where his family grew up, where he grew up, where maybe generations of these people have lived. It's changed in such a way that your own son is afraid to go outside. Today, it's horrible. If I had a daughter, I would follow her with a loaded shotgun. That's based. It's absurd. This immigration system is ruthless to the Swedish people. They've betrayed our country. And again, we see this same sentiment echoed everywhere in Europe, outside of Poland and Hungary, actually. Very odd how they have not seen the dramatic rise in, random attacks, machete, grenade attacks, whatever it might be, rape gangs. Now, this is it just happened to be in the same thread, but you can see a beautiful future doctor, lawyer, scholar, a new Swedish person, right? One of the new Swedes, as they're known. Might not look quite Swedish, but they're new Swedes, okay? Or neo-Swedes, I guess you could say, attacking a mother and her daughter.
I know that guy. That's Georg Jorgensen, actually. Very Swedish man.
Wait, was that Hassan Piker?
That actually does kind of look like Hassan Piker. Yes, it might actually be Hassan Piker because somebody called him like a commie faggot or something like that. And he's like, what'd you say to me? What'd you say to me? Eat the rich.
His detour from Cuba.
Yeah, I forgot that he did that. And well, where do we go from here? I'm curious. Do we just do the normal rage bait, or do we want to do something a little bit funnier?
I think we should do something funny, John.
Okay. Well,
there is one thing we could do kind of funny.
This is not funny.
It is kind of funny.
No, but true though. The dude, that guy saying I'd follow my daughter around with a loaded shotgun, true and based. If you guys have a daughter, if you guys have any kids, honestly, if you guys just go out into the world, you should always have a gun with you. And if you live in a place where that's not permitted, you shouldn't live there. or you
sounds
should just
amusing.
do it anyway. This is not legal advice, but you know,
Fatherly
you're
advice. we'll call
responsible.
it.
You're responsible for the well-being and safety of yourself and your family. Your family,
Yes,
obviously.
It's no wonder PewDiePie went to Japan. So Sweden traded PewDiePie for Farik. Was not a good trade. Trade deal.
Well, maybe he heard about the Japanese exports as well.
Now, this one's been floating around for a while, but it is true. There is no real justice in the American justice system. And part of it is the judges, of course. But part of it is also just the people, Jake. So let's say you had to defend yourself in a public area against a African American in Chicago. And then the prosecution managed to stuff the jury with 12 African gentlemen. Do you just intuitively believe that you would receive a fair trial? That the jury would be unbiased?
You know, John, I don't think I would. I can't quite tell you why, but I just have a feeling.
And
that
you
I
know what's
don't
funny,
think I
Jake?
would.
The black people would say the same thing if they had an all-white jury. The ironic truth there is that is just complete projection, because the only way that a black man can actually get justice is if it is an all-white jury. All-white male jury, by the way, too, okay? Because femoids will feel bad for lay immigrant or something like that. But no, a jury from the O.J. Simpson trial said 90% of the jury was guilty, but acquitted him anyway as payback to white people. A jury of your peers, huh? Your peers. Are the peers in the room with us now? Now, speaking of peers, okay, and this young woman could be, actually, maybe I'll download this video real fast, just because it's easier for us to watch it this way. But this young woman has an interaction, a cleverly edited video at a gas station, where it seems that she's being accosted, just absolutely destroyed by the worker there, okay? And it's very unfair of her to be attacked in this manner. So, Jake, can you just elucidate here on what you see, okay? Is this a heckin' white man beating up on a black chick? Like, this seems like a racially motivated crime if you cut the video just right.
Let me go! Get off of each other! Get off of each other!
So she's on the ground, she's crying, the guy's dragging her out of the store, kind of based, honestly. But this looks like a hate crime to me.
Yeah, that looks like a heckin' racist white man. He's wearing my shirt, though. He's got the same shirt on.
He's got
I
the
gotta give him
same
points
vibes.
for that. But yeah, Hagrid over here is a hateful white man.
Anyway, so everybody in the store is yelling at him, trying to get him to stop. Like, what are you doing? You're attacking this woman. You're being so heckin' mean. You gotta stop. And he's trying to defend himself. Like, listen, she attacked me. What are you talking about?
She's attacking me! You don't nobody by their fucking feet! The fuck? Stop hitting each other! Why are you
Is that English?
Say, you okay? I got all that shit on camera.
She's sitting there crying. Oh, Jake, did that do it for you?
I got all that shit on camera.
On my mama!
On my mama!
And then you get the other angle, and you have a cohort of fine African queens attempting to pick up what do blacks smoke? Shoot.
Black and Milds.
Black and Milds, that's the one. You know, I wish their personalities were black and mild. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I wish their personalities were black and mild, because I need to calm down a little bit.
They call them black and wild.
She seems to be quite rational, quite reasonable, yelling at the gas station attendant, probably for EBT-related reasons.
You better get on. Call the police. They're going to take your head to jail.
Yeah, they are doing. So she goes behind the counter.
Why she go behind her?
And then
man, why she
attacks
go
the
behind
guy.
them?
Look at
Man,
that.
she went behind
She's
her to
going
fight the man.
crazy style on him right now, and not in the Candace way. Okay, I know somebody would love it if it was Candace going crazy style in there, but no, this black woman not quite the same genre.
I do love the camera. It's
the operator,
man, woman, saying, "Oh nah, she went behind the counter.
She going to jail, man. Call the police
she going
now."
to jail. At least they know, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like some kind of phenomenon where the closer they get to the situation, the more blinded by primate rage. I don't know, man. This reminds me of a young man, a high school graduate, you know, full of life, who went behind the counter and grabbed a handful of cigarillos, and that situation ended up burning down most of St. Louis, I believe. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Man, why she go behind the damn? Man, she went behind her to fight the man. Man, she went behind the counter to fight the man. Now you finna go to jail. Ah, man, y'all sitting there what?
And again, he's being rather calm. So he's just dragging her out of the store. He's not striking her. She pulled on his beard or his hair to like try and get him down. And now he's just dragging her by her unwashed feet out of the store. And then this is where the other video cuts in.
Man, y'all sit.
And then this white knight tries to step in, what somebody said in chat, white guilt maxing, to stop him from executing justice, which is actually a perfect summation of our system. Random white passerby, white liberal, and white in like the loosest term of white, by the way, in a lot of cases, stops actual justice from being carried out. Literally carried out in this case. I didn't even mean to make that pun, but yes. Stopping justice from being carried out is another person getting in your way who should not be.
She was just trying to find the Father's Day card.
Honestly, it would have been based if the other guy just grabbed her hands, right? So it's just feet and hands, toss her out, put her in the dumpster.
Yeah, he just
her.
walks up and he says, "Stop! Let me help you, brother.
I got this, bro."
They both drag her out.
And he has the physiognomy, you know, is he wearing Crocs? Belly, huge ponytail, very Reddit coded. This is a top Reddit mod, saving the black queens.
He's just trying to get that dark chocolate, man. That's what he's trying to do.
That one. And I feel bad for this guy because he's surrounded. There's like a half dozen chimps in the area. Like, this could go very bad if they all decide to attack him, you know? And he's standing his base. He's sitting there. He's saying, "No, she attacked me. I'm doing the right thing. You know, get this monkey out of my store. Let's go."
Shit.
And then it's a black police officer just like, "Really? Really, ma'am? You know how many of you I have to deal with on a daily basis?"
Ma'am, you know he knows her on first name basis.
Shaniqua, you making us look bad up in here.
Laquifa, get out of this store, man. You know you can't be stealing them all. Why
you do that?
Probably his cousin.
Show her getting arrested. Show her getting arrested. Anyways, and keep in mind that this woman does currently still have the same right to vote as you do. Now, do you guys like Australia? Does that sound like a good place to go visit?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going down there to hunt kangaroos, that sounds all right. If I'm going to be around any of the people, probably not.
What about the camels? Apparently they have
camels too. I would hunt camels in Australia.
This is another one of those situations where the Australian people are looking a little brown these days. Like, pretty strange. This is called African Somali ASMR, by the way. Kino.
slightly less brown person trying to hold back the other much more brown people.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's white police officers in defense of the lighter browns from the darker browns. They don't associate. It's like mixing colors. They don't associate with one another. Holy cacophonies.
Unreal.
Yeah. CCTV footage of police officers using pepper spray to break up a brawl between 50 mainly African teenagers at a Melbourne shopping center. No arrests have been made. No arrests have been made. Just
honestly,
what are you supposed to do with a mob like that? Like it's 50 of them.
John, at least they said African teenagers instead of just teens.
Australian teens. Yeah.
Hey, at least they said they actually told you what it was. You know, that's better than what our news does, okay?
True.
I know what the issue was here. They didn't have the Aboriginal translator.
It probably would help. Now, what do I call this young man? This is somebody who is shocked that his consequences may have actions. And in fact, he may be indignant at the universe for dispensing any justice upon him or his friend. So I find that quite strange because he must be so divorced from the consequences of his actions that the slightest bit of karmic justice or disciplinary measures or anything like that, just the mildest bit of it, you know, is just like a shock to his system, which is how coddled these people must be. So this is a attempted robbing that goes properly. Also, just by the way, filming your own crimes, very African coded. Very African coded. Very Jake coded wardrobe too.
What's up? Oh, nigga, what the fuck? No! Oh.
And you could hear him crying out, what happened? No.
The end cries out as you run them over with your car.
the end cries out as you run away from him trying to rob you. It's like, but no, it's like his world just fell apart there in his voice. He's like, what happened? You ran us all? Why would you do that? What happened?
He dropped the Ebonics for half a second and went, no.
Yeah, I know.
Very
it's
dramatically.
like Darth Vader, no. It's like, excuse me? Like, what? Did you not expect any consequence? Nothing?
What's up? What's up? Oh, nigga, what the fuck? No!
Oh, jeez. And again, it's like a little bit of a lighthearted story because, I mean, quite honestly, no damage really to the car. You know, I guess he's going to be a burden on the healthcare system. I guess that's bad. We're going to have to pay for that. But I mean, you know, nothing of value was hurt. Yeah, that other guy got folded, dude. Not looking good. Of all the cars to be ran over, like a really low Audi would not be on the top of my list to get physically run over on. Yeah.
One more time.
That's this one's from Uncle A from the grave, dude. Audi getting it done. Well, what about we'll end with this one, okay? What about schizo maxing, but also black maxing, okay? Conway, Walmart killing, suspect claimed was a demon. Okay, so maybe this is like some sort of divine justice that this guy's putting out. I guess we'll have to see, Jake. We'll have to see if this guy's on to something here, okay? Maybe this is like a divine mission given to him by the angel Gabriel himself, okay? It's like, listen, you must kill this woman at Walmart because she's demon possessed. I don't know what name is this guy. Barik. I don't know.
Aquarius.
Aquarius. God needs you to kill the cashier, okay?
Aquarius, wake up, Aquarius. Kill
My
the
servant
cashier at
Aquarius.
Walmart. Do it now.
Put on your sandals and take your sword, your Glock 42, or your Glock 22, and go to Walmart and kill the cashier. please.
Well, newly released court documents reveal disturbing new details in the deadly stabbing of a Conway Walmart employee.
Channel 7's Danielle DeHogany.
So, Jim, I don't know who Frank Castle is. I've heard the name, but I don't know who Frank Castle is. I'll take that as a compliment, but I don't know who that is.
Has the details on that tonight. She is here in our studio now. Daniela.
Well, Chris Beth, investigators say the suspect, Zedric Ross, told them he was walking around that Walmart store with a stolen knife and a machete because he needed to protect himself from a demon. And now his mother is speaking out, saying her son had been unraveling.
You know, a lot of the New Testament, you'll hear these stories of the disciples or Christ casting out demons. And if we were back in those times, like, this would be the type of person they'd be casting out demons from, like doing damage to themselves and others. Like, we call it other things now, but this is exactly the type of person.
Yes, this is the type of person that you would see chained up amongst the tombs.
Yeah, no kidding.
For years. Tonight, a horrifying new window into what led to the killing of a Conway Walmart employee, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by Channel 7 News.
Obviously, we were joking a little bit here, but it is tragic, the loss of another one of our people for no benefit whatsoever, so that crazy schizo man can walk around free, even though I'm sure that he has never been a benefit to society at any point in his life, and honestly should be deported back to Africa, where he can truly enrich the native population. You know, we've stolen too much of their high brain capital, and so we must return it.
You know, John, I know you engage in a little bit of cherry picking for these clips to find the ones that are like maximum rage inducing. But do you even see any articles about a white person killing a black person? Do you ever see those?
It does happen, but it's so much rarer. And this might be a little bit of like selection bias, just because I frequent the same sources that feed me the information that I want to see, right? So there's probably some selection bias there. But usually, like the two black guys getting out of their vehicle to rob somebody else in broad daylight never happens. Like, that situation never happens. Now, schizo white people do murder people, absolutely. And in some cases it's black, but you have to remember just the sheer proportion of white on black crime versus black on white crime. For instance, the famous year that everybody pulls up is in 2008. There were 23,000 black on white rapes. Jake, can you guess the number of white on black rapes?
I can't even guess, John.
The reason why 2008 is often cited is because the number is actually fucking zero.
Really?
There were 0 reported white on black rapes in 2008 and 23,000 the other way.
That just doesn't look good, John. That one doesn't look good for the...
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, you know. So, and when 6% of the population literally commits 60% of the violence, it's hard to find it the other way, because there is white on white crime, you know, that happens a lot. Whites don't really attack other races. Like, Hispanics also usually keep it within the race. The only one that has a little bit more of a spike is Hispanic on black and black on Hispanic. But black people attack everybody. So, which is why you just see these stories everywhere. It's just the sheer volume of them. In fact, I would have to cherry pick it the other way. I would have to search high and low to find the white on black clips, versus every day I'm fed a cacophony of black on black, black on white, black on Hispanic, black on Asian, whatever it might be. You know, it just happens at such a high volume.
I bet that the last story was actually reported as a white on black crime.
Well, that's also true. A lot of the quote, but when I'm looking at these, I don't actually look at the police statistics. I'm just looking at like the physical elements of it, right? So they might count this guy as white or the previous guys as white. Doesn't mean that they're actually white.
Well, no. So I meant the driver.
The statistics are even when you look at it. The statistics are terrible as they stand. They are horrifying as they stand. If you accurately counted white people as truly like white people, not like light-skinned Arabs or Hispanics, the whole narrative would almost completely collapse. Like, because if it were truly counted, it would be like people with African descent would probably be around 90% of all violent crime. Like that would be my guess. And then
we
Hispanics
can
would
just-
make up the rest.
We can just do a little link back to the beginning of this episode with the whole one gun crime or whatever Rhode Island was saying. This is the kind. This stuff is inconvenient. Okay, for their narrative of like keeping the community safe.
Well, yes, it's like, listen, I could get rid of 80% of all violent crime tomorrow if I removed all black and brown people from the country. 80% of all violent crime goes away overnight. It's gone. Oh, but that's like heckin' racist or something. It's like, I don't care. Why is that bad? Why is it bad to save people? Why is it bad to protect people? And I'm not killing them. I'm just putting them back where they belong. That's all. Like, come on. Jeez. What's the problem?
37-year-old Zedrick Ross told detectives he was trying to kill a demon. Instead, police say he fatally stabbed 32-year-old Jordan Drinkwater, a woman simply working her shift. The affidavit says Ross described the demon as a light-skinned black woman with brown eyes and weave.
Now, listen, I've seen a lot of black women that I would also say are rather demonic in the way that they act. I mean, the fact that, you know, black children have it worse than a coin flip to where they actually get born. The way that they act in public, the way that they act with men, the way that they parade themselves about. There are plenty of women of color who, yes, I would say demon possessed is maybe not technically correct, but certainly applicable.
He told investigators after he grabbed Drinkwater and stabbed her in the neck and shoulder, he realized the female laying on the ground was not the demon.
Nah, no, he's really not. He's not well. He's definitely not saying talking like that.
In an exclusive interview with Channel 7 News, Ross's mother, Michelle, said she had no idea her son was...
No idea.
Sometimes you don't need to say anything, you know? Sometimes the jokes just write themselves.
idea her son was suffering from delusions, but says she noticed years ago that something was wrong.
That's not the son that I used to know. That's not the son that I know. He's a totally different person now. I don't even recognize him anymore.
She said Ross had struggled with depression, had been prescribed medication, and stopped taking it. The last time they spoke, she said he was talking about government conspiracies, and after that, they never spoke again.
Like, is this just black schizo, or is this like MK Ultra, you know, pill maxing? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Pharmaceutical experiment, black man goes wrong, kills a white person. Like, that seems to me like the system is actually operating as intended.
Well, if he actually had schizophrenia and they're treating him for depression.
Yeah. Very likely that he is, in fact, schizophrenic, insane. And for that reason, I think because he murdered this woman, he should be executed. But that's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
Because they will just rule him as whatever, incompetent to stand trial, and then he's going to go live the rest of his life in a insane asylum. But that's like a really bad
no. He'll be
standard.
out in 7 years in good behavior, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I'm too optimistic, John.
Prison? What are you talking about? Yeah, the dad was so upset he refused. The dad was not available for comment. Oh, no.
So I knew he was just a loose cannon.
Somebody said that she looks like Jabba the Hutt. It's a striking resemblance.
Ready to pop, ready to snap. But I still didn't imagine, I never imagined he would do that though.
She said she hopes Drinkwater's loved ones can find peace.
My heart goes out to the family. I really feel sorry for the family that she lost a daughter. I'm very sorry for that. I would actually want justice to be done against my own son. He shouldn't have done that.
And perhaps most painfully.
Hey, well, that's at least, I got to give the mom a little bit of props, okay? She's saying she wants justice for her own son. A lot of them do not feel that way, okay? A lot of them do not feel that way. So that's actually, I got to give her a little bit of props for not being completely cringe.
Yeah. Surprising, actually.
She didn't pull the didn't do nothing.
Yeah, that's. I mean, hey, little silver lining there, I guess. But it won't
She said
happen.
she's
So
No.
afraid of what could happen if he's ever released.
I just hope they never let him out. Because if they let him out, he might do it again. He belongs in the institution. That's where he belongs. Now he's going to have to go to prison because he committed murder, and I agree with that.
And according to court documents, Ross was previously found guilty of
Yeah, a tragic loss of one of her own for diversity. Listen, diversity is our biggest strength. Too bad our biggest strength keeps stabbing and murdering us. That's really obnoxious that they keep, we'd be a lot stronger if they would stop killing us or draining our health care or our welfare or our housing or, raping people. Could you just stop?
yeah, John, I think I've seen enough, and I think we can just give up on diversity. I think we should just go back.
Yeah, I think the experiment's kind of run its course. I agree.
The experiment's over. It's past
Back it up,
due even.
boys. You're going home. Jarrett for 2 over on Rumble says, my brother-in-law with a son and also a daughter a couple of weeks out doesn't carry. How do I convince him to start? Tell him he's a massive faggot. And if he does not want to protect his own sons and daughters, then he is in dereliction of his duty as a man. A little bit of bullying between brothers, okay? Bushmaster follows up for 2 and says, how can it be a hate crime if I love doing it? Dude, if I ever represented myself in some sort of hypothetical hate crime scenario, right? I knew I'm going away for the rest of my life, but I would represent myself and I would try and make the trial as funny as humanly possible, okay? Because if my life is going to be spent behind bars in some sort of Aryan gang, because that's the only way to have safety inside of a prison, like I might as well go out giving my people on the outside a little bit of a laugh track, okay? A couple of highlight reels.
Don't give me any ideas, sir.
Jarrett gifted 1 subscription to Focus Trip. Thank you, Jarrett. And then Jarrett follows up and gifted another subscription over on Rumble. Appreciate that. Thank you. Amorite Boy for 2. Dude, I love it when it does like the little head tracking movements for you. It's very TikTok coded. You should like be up there doing a dance. Can you do a dance for us? There you go. Yeah. There. Nice. Amorite Boy for 2. Says, rest in peace, little one. We will remember you. That's right. Samuel will be remembered. But from our paradigm, he would be hopefully with his savior right now. Thank you, Amorite Boy. Appreciate that. Jim Eagle UC for $20 says, do how being big to many now big boy chow my China #1 the other do my how no big debt squad Tiananmen Square big nothing QBZ #1 no keyhole never keyhole. Oh, Winnie Pooh eating orange fatty. I think he wants the Jade song.
Yes.
Fine. I will pull it up.
Fuck you, Jim Eagle.
It does go hard. I kind of like it. I think it's better not knowing what they're saying. Honestly, it kind of adds to the whole vibe. Thank you.
John,
Thank you,
is
Jim
that-
Eagle. I appreciate that. I know Jake loved it too, deep down.
My master plan here is that this song will overtake the original, and then it'll kind of obfuscate what it's actually about. So then people will just forget about it,
Big
We'll see if
towel
it works.
money. A big towel money, Jake. You're my #1 superstar. Big towel money.
Hey, Jim Eagle, I hate you.
Jake, how much did it cost to turn your toes into a Xerxes lookalike?
I have no idea. It ruined. You know what? The cost of that image was Hot Cocoa, his neighborhood being destroyed by server farms, and I'm okay with
True,
that.
dude.
Actually,
This is the reason why RAM is $900. All right, Puddle of Chud for 10. Great name. We'll watch the VOD in the morning at work. Good night, bros. Good night, Puddle of Chud. Thank you very much for your support. And if you make it this far in the VOD tomorrow, bro, I hope you're having a good day at work, dude. Doing the real work out there, bro.
And I hope you have a good Easter on Sunday, Puddle of Chud.
Yeah, for all my ortho bros, happy Holy Week, and I wish you a blessed Easter next Sunday. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, don't forget the black on dog rapes. It's real. I have heard of this stat before, and I've never looked into it. I gotta be real, dog. I don't need it as an additional piece of like polemic evidence against a certain demographic. I'll take your word for it, because I mean, maybe I'll look into it. And I'll just, like, what's it supposed to do? Make me even more resolved in what has to be done? Like, I'm already on your team, okay? Like, you don't need any more polemics, okay? I'm good. Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Chud for 2 says, John's first character witness, absolute Moon Man. Yes, Moon Man would be like, yes, Your Honor, John absolutely meant it when he said this on XYZ date. And yes, he loves Girls Frontline 2 that he played on stream multiple times for me. Via donations. Yes, that's exactly what Moonman would say.
No, Moonman would ask for the judge's name and address.
Yeah, he threatens the judge on the stand. Well, so Dozer, the Orthodox Church, and probably a few other like Assyrian Church of the East, Ethiopian Orthodox, those guys, I believe they celebrate their Easter next Sunday because they do not use the same calendar as the Western Church does, right? So their Holy Week is actually this week, ending with Easter Sunday.
Yes, and that means as a Protestant, you are actually in the future. It's kind of an interstellar moment. So make sure to make fun of your ortho bro friends about that.
What, that they live in the past?
They do, yes.
All right. Anyways, here's a song. This is an anti-trench grenade song. What We Got at Home, okay, by Andrew. So I hope that let's hear it together, okay? I think it goes hard.
Big egghead like a busted drone, tiny legs swinging off the drone, trench grenade in the kid size zone, talk real tall on his toy flip phone. Hey, voice like he swallowed a frog last week, croaking his throat when he tries to speak, stand on the curb still looking petite, talk about one never left his stride. Mom says we got that at home. He repeats it like a prayer monotone. Coupons in his wallet like a badge of honor. Stealing stories like he earned that armor. Yeah! Trench grenade, big head, small frame. Hey. Talks big talk, but it all sound lame. Chest full of pins that he never did gain. USPCAA stolen valor in his name. Trench grenade, croak in his tone. Try to act hard from his booster throne. Keep spilling the tea, all that bark and he mad at me. Camouflage pants at the outlet mall, middle from a sight on a clearance hall. Salute in the mirror, trying to stand tall. Feet don't reach, still trying to brawl. Ask for takeout, mom said we got it. Penny full of knockoff, he flaunted. Yeah, hustle like he feasting on exotic plates, but it's fish and burn bites on paper plates. Mom says we got that at home. Swear that phrase carved into his dome. Copy paste pride from an online forum. Second hand life and discount decorum. Trench grenade, big head, small frame. Talks big talk, but it all sound lame. Chest full of pins that he never did gain. USXPAX, stolen valor in his name. Trench grenade, croak in his tone. Trying to act hard from his booster throne. Mirror on the wall, keep spilling the tea. All that bark and he mad at me.
This does go really hard. It's good.
Is he tough? Is he hurt? Is he tired of the play? Is he mad at the world or just scared he's gay? All that foam on his mouth, all that cards play rage, hiding every soft truth in a toy war cage. Trench grenade, big head, small frame. Talks big talk, but it all sounds shame. Chest full of pins that he never did gain. USXPA stolen valor in his name. Trench grenade, quote in his tone. Crowd, trying to act hard from his booster throne. Hammer on the wall, no room to stray. Maybe he'd be free if he let himself say.
Tom Mack and Charlie Cox AI collab.
Dude, that line about him being scared he's gay. Hey, dude, I'm pretty sure I had some kind of like medical event after that. That made me laugh really hard.
Jeez. Thank you, Andrew. That was quite good. Yeah, make a video. You know, I think lyrically it could be a little bit stronger in some places, right? Especially the chorus. Like, I think the chorus is actually the weak part of the song. I think the verses are really good, but the chorus needs some improvement. Musically, like, good. I like that style. You know, it's like new metal rap from like the early 2000s. Like, it goes pretty hard. I like that.
If you do the video, I want the llama to do the singing.
Dude, yeah, and it
llama
has to be
aviators.
llamas and Garantham, and dude, there's so many things you could do with a video version of that.
Yeah, I feel like the chorus could just be about the combat llama and something about sucking Grantham's cock or getting impregnated by Grantham. I think that'd be.
Oh no, that has to be like hidden into one of the verses or something like that.
It's gotta be in there somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. 3 grenades. Yeah, Lincoln Park. Yeah. Cody for 5 says, I love this level of hate this man has for him. I don't even think it's hate. You know, Andrew's just, I mean, he did like multiple toe songs for Jake. I think he's just dedicated, you know, it's just dedication, right? What slow business does to a motherfucker. Okay. You know, when you got time on your hands, it's Jake's play shop, as the saying goes. All right. Jake, what do you got going on?
I really have nothing going on. Just working and enjoying coming on here on Monday nights. It's been a blast. Tonight was heavy, but everyone just remember that Christ is risen. You know, Easter Sunday or next Sunday if you're Orthodox. Christ is risen. He conquered death. He bore the wrath of God so that we could live. And he's coming back. He will be back. He is currently reigning as king over this earth, and we are here to increase his kingdom, guys. So get out in the world and do some expansionism. Let's be based. Let's be white pilled, because we know that Christ wins. That's all I gotta say.
Based. Richard, what do you got going on me?
I just want everybody to say a prayer for Samuel's soul. That's it.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for hanging out, for being a part of the stream tonight with us. I know that the topics always on the back half are a little bit heavier, you know, these days, as things tend to be. Lots of things are always happening, and it is not our job in this life to pick when and where we are born, what we're meant to do. It is our job to go out there and do them regardless, to be the happy warrior, to be the guy who does the things required of him, not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because it's what you were born to do, okay? And that's really the only time to be fulfilled in this life. Is not when life is easy, is not when you have all the money, all of the things, but it's when you are doing what you are meant to do, okay? And fortunately here, we have a lot of work to do, so you should be happy that at least you're not going to be bored. Okay, what do you want? A simple, boring life, peaceful farmer or something like that? No, okay, you didn't select that part of history, okay? You got the other one, which is much more interesting, a little bit more dynamic, but there is work to be done this week. You know, maybe tomorrow Iran will literally be obliterated. We don't know, but whatever does happen, Christ is king always and forever, and he is risen, and he's waiting for you. So with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Godspeed, God bless, Christ is king.